66 teams, 15 days, 15 games and 19 games in total. Welcome to the SDG Fairbreak Invitational Tournament. I'm excited to have you coming live here at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium. If yesterday's game is anything to go by, then we are in for a belter today. Joined in studio, I've got the visionary of the Fairbreak Invitational Tournament, and I am excited to be chatting to him about what will be happening today as far as the game between the Sapphires as well as the Tornadoes. It's Sean. Welcome to it. Sean, how are you feeling?
I feel great, Laseho. It was amazing last night. A great game.
Yeah, it was an amazing game, was it? I mean, it's so great to have players getting over half a century mark and also getting Atapatu getting her century mark as well.
Yeah, look, it was a dream start. Over 350 runs scored and we got down to 12 runs off 12 balls at the end. So you can't really ask for much more than that.
Yeah, and today we've got the Sapphires led by the sensational Sanamir, and of course we've got the Tornadoes captained by Stefanie Taylor. What are you expecting to see unfold today?
Well, I think the bar was set very high last night, so I think both of these teams they know what they've got to do to achieve that, and I think they've got lineups that can really push the bar even a bit higher today.
And what are some of the star players that you're expecting to see today in today's game?
Well, I think the Tornadoes lineup is pretty strong. It's got 3 international captains in it: Stefanie Taylor, Sophie Devine, and Sune Luz. So that's an exceptional lineup. But in the Sapphires, you do have Sana Mir, you've got Natasha Farrant, you've got Shabnam Ismail, but you've also got Carrie Chan, the Hong Kong captain, who is an exceptional player, and I think people will see that today.
And talking about Sanamir, we know that obviously she had retired and now she just came back to be part of the tournament. How exciting is to have her as well?
Oh, look, it's wonderful. I mean, we do a lot of work with Sana. She's captained our teams in the past overseas and in Australia. She's an icon of the game, and for those players from associate nations that get that experience with Sana today, it's not something that they'll ever be able to get again in their lifetime.
Yeah, definitely an icon of the game. Let's go straight to the pitch reporter with Isabella.
Well, we gleaned a lot of information from last night's match. It was the Warriors versus the Falcons, the inaugural game here for Fairbreak Invitational T20. The pitch is a hard track. There's consistent bounce, it comes onto the bat. There's a certain amount of green tuft on the pitch. There's something in it for the seamers and certainly for the spinners as well. We saw a bit of spin yesterday from Hayley Matthews. She was bowling to Mariko Hill. A couple of inside edges, it was turning. There was a bit of grip and turn. Now, in terms of the weather, we know that it's scorchio here every day. It's consistent. It makes life easier for the groundsman, the curator here, the head groundsman, who's called Toby Lumsden. He does a lot of irrigation for the pitch, and it holds a lot of moisture. It's Pakistani clay, 60% Pakistani clay, so that helps to preserve the pitch. There are 9 strips on this square, and we're going to spend, I would say, 4 to 5 matches on each strip. So there'll be a bit of wear and tear by the time we get to that 4th or 5th pitch. It'll be interesting to see how the pitch plays. Perhaps it'll be a little bit slower by then. And by the final, we'll be into the centre of the square.
Great to hear from Isabella regarding that pitch report. Now let's head over to Mel, who's on standby for the coin toss. Let's see who wins that toss and what they elect to do first.
Well, it's lovely and toasty warm, just to put it mildly, down here for the coin toss. So we'll get straight into it so that you ladies don't have to be out here too much longer. With us down here, we have Mark Farmer, the General Manager of Hong Kong Cricket, who is the board who have facilitated this tournament, and also Steve Bernard, match referee. So they're going to do the coin toss. We, of course, have Sana Mir and Stefanie Taylor here, the 2 captains as well. So, Mark, if you'd like to do the honours.
That's right, Sana, if you call loudly.
Yeah. Sana gets the call. Pressure's on.
Heads, please.
Caller's heads.
That is a head, Sana. You've won it.
That is heads, Sana. Good start to the tournament. Then you've won the toss. What are you going to do?
We are going to bowl first.
That seems to be a popular choice. Talk us through why.
Yeah, because I think still it's very early in the tournament to know what the exact averages and scoring rates are. So we like to just have a bowl. We've got a very good bowling attack, so put the opposition under pressure.
Oh, you joined us in commentary for a while. You had a good look last night. What are you expecting out here? What can we expect from your team?
I think both the teams today are very well matched. Both are very strong, so it's going to be a very good competition. And we saw some really good cricket yesterday, and we would like to put up a good show.
Oh, well, we look forward to seeing you. Good luck with that
Thank you.
today. And Stefani, bringing you in here, what would you have done? Would you have had a bowl as well?
Yeah, we would have had a bowl. I mean, seeing last night, I think, no one really know what, par score is like. So it would be nice to have a bowl first and chase after.
Now, something we did see last night was some high scoring, including from Hayley Matthews, your West Indies teammate. Are you expecting more of the same today on this in the hot afternoon sun?
Well, I'm hoping that, for on our team especially, but I thought Hayley went really well. Coming off the World Cup, she looked really good, and hopefully our team can do some of that damage.
Bringing in a team, who's stood out to you? Any that you think might be a little surprise package, particularly from the associate nations?
We have a few. It's not easy to just pinpoint just a one, but they look really good, and they're bubbly and excited and ready to go.
Oh, well, we look forward to seeing how you do go today. So all the best with that.
Thanks much.
So there you go. The Sapphires have won the toss in match 2, and they've elected to field first.
And the Sapphires have won the toss and they have elected to field first. Over to you, Sean. Take us through that batting lineup, the starting 11 for the Tornadoes.
Well, it's Sophie Devine and Stera Callis. I mean, that's a very powerful opening batting combination. Stera's been a part of Fairbreak teams for some time, and from the Netherlands, and now a full-time contracted player in Yorkshire. So there's some excitement there. Stefani Taylor, Sune Luz, Katie Martin, Aaliyah Ra. I mean, that's a really strong top order batting lineup. And right down to Diana Baig batting at the bottom of the order. I mean, it's a very, very strong group.
Yeah, and now moving over to Team Sapphires, which we'll be able to see in a bit, led by Son Amir. Of course, we've got that good opening combination by Elise as well as Gabby. And when we go there to the middle, we see Kim and Carrie there, hopefully holding the middle order. And of course, we see the experience of Shamim Ismail and as well as Emma Lay at the end. We're hoping to see a really great contest between the Sapphires as well as the Tornadoes. When you look at that batting lineup, what do you think?
Well, I think that's, again, it's almost the equal of the first batting lineup, and there's some exciting talent in that. I've mentioned Carrie Chan before. I think you'll see her very strong in that middle order. But also, it's the bowling attacks, I think, of both teams that are really interesting, and I think that's one of the reasons that Sana's bowled first on this wicket. We saw how the wicket performed last night. They've got a very powerful opening attack, and I think they'll exploit these conditions very well.
Yeah, great stuff. We look forward to an incredible second game of the Fairbreak competition. We'll see you after this with live cricket action.
Oh yeah, can't have it. Yeah, no worries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Another hot day here at Dubai International Cricket Stadium for the Tornadoes and the Sapphires, the second game of the Fairbreak Invitational 2022. Sapphires have won the toss. Sana Mir, their skipper, out of retirement, the former Pakistan captain, electing to bowl first, sending in the Tornadoes, which means we get to see Stefani Taylor and Sophie Devine, two of the most powerful hitters in the game, coming up any moment now. Yeah, Callis will also be part of the top three. Very experienced top four, Sune Luce, South African mainstay, captain during the most recent World Cup. Carter to come in at 4 and Katie Martin, the New Zealand veteran, at 5. And Sana Mir, who was commentating at the World Cup and part of our commentary team yesterday, as she'll be throughout the fortnight here at Dubai. Led Pakistan with distinction over many years. A fair breaker from the get-go. There, Tash Farrant from England, likely to take the new ball with Shabnim Ismail from South Africa, one of the most dynamic bowlers in the world. Adam Collins with you, and to begin our commentary today from Dubai Sports City is cricket journalist Georgie Heath. Good afternoon, Georgie.
Good afternoon to you. Yeah, look, we can see those Tornadoes openers down there. It actually looks like we've got Ster Callis coming in to open. And a little fact on her, she's a very superstitious batter. She steps onto the field over the boundary line with her right foot first, always.
Gotta love cricketers. Strange at the best of times. Right, so looking through the two lineups again, Elise Villani will open the batting for the Sapphires, along with Gabby Lewis in the chase. Mentioned before, likely that Shabnim Ismail will take the new ball with Tash Farrant, the captain Sana Mir. Associate players scattered across the two teams. Sophie Devine, Ster Callis, Stefani Taylor, Sune Luce, the top four for the Tornadoes. A couple of all-rounders in the middle. Tash Miles and Diana Baig, we'll see them with ball in hand later in the afternoon. Here we see, will she cross the rope with her right foot first? She certainly does. Well called there, Georgie. You're on the board early on commentary. And Sophie Devine with her, who has been the New Zealand skipper for the last couple of years. One of the most destructive players in the world. Started her World Cup campaign earlier this year with a blistering 100, albeit in a losing effort against the West Indies. But yes, those numbers speak for themselves. And opening the batting with Ster Callis, who's been a real presence across the associate game in recent years. Playing cricket in England as well, and domestic competitions over there. And Shabnim Ismail will get that first opportunity. The quickest bowler in the world in the women's game, being clocked up at 80 mile an hour. She'll start at Sophie Devine, two players that know each other well. They would be playing international cricket against each other for the better part of the last 15 years. Jasmine Naeem pulls them to attention. Fielders outside the circle at deep third and fine. Catcher at slip. And we're away, game 2 of the Fairbreak Invitational. Frustration for Devine at the recently completed World Cup, Georgie, on home soil in New Zealand. That golden generation of New Zealand cricketers who haven't been able to get it done really on the big stage over the last 4 or 5 competitions, be it at 50 over level or 20 over level. And so it was again not making the semi-finals. Striking uniform, Tornadoes, gold and black. Couple of singles to start.
Yeah, the nerves will be gone there for Callis. She's off the mark with her first ball, so she'll be pleased with that one. You know, there was a little worry. She was like, what if I get a first baller? But I told her she wasn't going to happen. Get that right foot over that boundary, and she's in there. But she is facing up to one of the biggest names in the women's bowling game. So you can understand if anyone was nervous at that.
Shout looks to be sliding. So assessed.
Yeah, Sophie Devine doesn't look worried at all by that, does she?
309 runs at 44 in the World Cup. It's comfortably down the leg side. Been on the circuit for a long time, Sophie Devine.
Yeah, I ended up in the hitting zone of Sophie Devine during training the other day, and it was a decision I'll probably not be making again anytime soon, unless I want my nose broken, because that girl can hit. She was hitting long, and she was just loving it. And I think it's the kind of thing all the associate players are picking up from someone like her, to have her around the group and showing what she can do. They're just going to be absorbing her energy and her enthusiasm and experience.
Bit of fire there from Shabnim. Never needs much motivation.
Yeah, fiery on the pitch, but just this here.
Don't mind this early on.
Now I'm going to enjoy this competition between these two here. They know each other very well.
Edged and dropped. That could be costly. End of the first over, 6 without loss to Tornadoes.
Here's the replay here. There's the edge from Sophie Devine. Oh, and it's just out of the reach of Debet there. And that could have been it. We saw a few drops yesterday to Susie Bates, and she made them pay for that one. Shabnim not happy with that, but just got to recover from that and go again. But yeah, you don't want to be dropping Sophie Devine, do you?
Babette the lead, putting down Sophie Devine in the first over off Shabnim Ismail. It really did fly to her right, had plenty of work to do, would have gone to first slip. There was no fielder position there. The catcher at second, which meant the lead had to go. Couldn't drag it in. Experience at both ends. Tash Farrant taking the new ball from the Emirates Road end.
Yeah, Tash Farrant, she spent a lot of the winter and the World Cup running drinks on the bench, and so she's out here to prove exactly what it is she can do that made her that highest wicket taker in the 100 last year. So she's a fiery left arm bowler, so this is another little match up here to stare Callis facing her first ball.
Both fielders back on the leg side. Pace off the start. Take another look at the drop catch here. So a genuine thick edge, gave it plenty. Should have done better. Just a little bit off balance, I fancy. Might have just clipped the webbing of the glove before spilling out to the rope. Frustration from Shabnim Ismail, leader of the South African attack. Off target there, Farrant. Yeah, you're right. It's a great story, Tash Farrant, as far as finding her way back into a contracted position with England. She lost her deal in 2018, had to come back via the semi-pro system. She got a contract with the South East Stars to captain that. I was going to call it a franchise. They're not a franchise. They're a new club that's been developed at that semi-pro level a couple of years ago. Did well there. You mentioned that she led all comers in the 100 last year for the Oval Invincibles. And now back as an England contracted player. Again down the leg side, 2 in a row. She's dismissed Devine 3 times in T20 International, so a good match-up early for the Sapphires.
Yeah, and she'll be feeling very comfortable partnered up with Shabnam Ismail, who was with her at Oval last summer as well.
They were head and shoulders best team in that comp, weren't they? They bit the lead. Put the catch down in the first over. Paul, wicketkeeper for the Netherlands in international fair.
Strong Dutch representation out on the pitch at the moment then, alongside her teammate.
Bit of movement there from Tash Farron towards the leg stump. Not far away from sneaking through. Bringing leg stump into play. Yes, Stair Callis also benefiting from playing in England over the last couple of years and making her presence felt in those domestic competitions and getting picked up here for the Fairbreak International.
Yeah, she's been part of the Fairbreak setup for a while, actually. She sort of became the poster girl for it for a while. If you come in the Royal Box area at this Dubai International Stadium, there is a very large picture of Stair over the doors as you enter. So I'm sure she would have tried to get in through that at some point.
On the drive through the gap. At least a couple out towards the rope. Ball versus fielder, and ball wins. So Callis' first boundary. One apiece. Nice weight transfer there.
She plays her cricket up in the north with the Diamonds, Stair Callis. So they're a very strong looking side.
Two overs gone. Tornadoes at 14 without loss. Callis, part of the Northern Superchargers in the 100 and the Northern Diamonds in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy.
Yeah, well,
averaged 41 in that competition last year. They made the final, but great game there at Northhouse. Didn't quite get over the line. An early opportunity put down. Sophie Devine dropped on one. We saw last night the Falcons did the job over the Warriors, how important drop catches can be in the shortest form of the game. Four more through the cordon. Albeit this time bouncing between wicketkeeper and slip. No chance with the lead to drag it in. Always there for Villani to cut it off.
Yeah, and with the pace of Ismail, it just finds that edge. It's going to race away. It's dry out there. It's very hot. It's 33 degrees, so that ball's going to find the boundary. And there's a smiling Sophie Devine there.
There'd be a few nerves there, I fancy, for the Dutch wicketkeeper. He's in the game. Oh, Boulder! That's one way to take the wicketkeeper out of the equation, straight through the gate. Shabnam Ismail in the book, and the Tornadoes lose their first wicket with the score on 18. That was a vicious off-cutter.
Yeah, you just see that there. There was nothing she could do about that. Shabnam Ismail is just such a consummate professional. The passion in that, it's just Sophie Devine loses her stump, and she's got to go. She's looking disappointed. Gone for 10 off 9. Sophie Devine Tornadoes 18 for 1 after just over 2 overs.
One superstar replaces another. Stephanie Taylor, the West Indian captain, more than 8,000 international runs, 200 caps for the Windies. The World Cup winning skipper back in 2016, leading this Tornadoes team, walking out at number 3. Running her fingers down the seam was Ismail, and yeah, bending back the middle stump. Lovely to watch, especially after finding the outside edge a couple of times. She loved it. Runs. Buys or wides? Watch for this one. Yet buy signal, the MCC interpretation rather than the ICC in this competition, but the lead's not had a good start there behind the stumps. Albeit not an easy take moving to her left. It did just die on her a little bit, but wasn't able to get her glove in the way.
Yeah, she was just a bit slow with her foot movement there. She wasn't quite low enough, didn't quite get that sidestep to be able to reach that one. So yeah, she's leaking a few runs there behind the stumps. And a drop catch. So yeah, that'll be playing on her mind a bit. She's just got to focus and reassess. Yeah, you wouldn't complain too much, would you, if you had Stephanie Taylor coming in at number 3? You might have lost Sophie Devine, but it's not a bad replacement there.
Yeah, they're stacked up the top, aren't they? Sune Luce to come in next at 4. Then Katie Martin, 37 years of age. She's seen plenty at 5. Leah Riaz from Pakistan at 6. So, yeah, they bet deep, Tornadoes. Again, that accurate off-cutter played with respect by Taylor.
I saw Ismail in the nets the other day, and I was worried there might have been a little bit of taping and strapping going on, but you wouldn't expect any form of niggle of any form here, the way she's bowling. That was a wonderful ball to dismiss Sophie Devine, and she's going along nicer here, Ismail.
Short, takes it on, doesn't get much of it, but does get off the mark and will retain the straight. A successful over for the Sapphires. The Tornadoes losing their first wicket, 23 for 1. Devine edged through the slips in the first over, but Ismail went through the gate in the second. Passing the baton to her fellow veteran Stephanie Taylor in at 3. Halfway through the power play. First bowling change, Kim Garth into the attack, placing Tash Farron after 1 over. Kim Garth, who's partway through moving from Ireland to Australia in terms of international qualifications. She was, I should say, a mainstay of the Irish team from age 14 when she made her debut, but after playing plenty of years in the Women's Big Bash League, a couple of championships for the Sixers and these days with the Stars, but saw an opportunity, wants to play for Australia, relocated there, but still technically Irish for the purpose of qualification. That's why she's got that flag on her shirt. Edging again. 4 runs for Taylor, but not in control of that shot. Nice start from Kim Garth, and nice gentle outswinger. Taylor threw her hands at it. 27 for 1.
Yeah, Captain Sanamir not looking too amused by that one, but not a lot they could have done. It's beaten the fielder. It's just found that gap there. It's got pace on it there from Kim Garth, and Stefani Taylor just off the mark with that 4 there. Nice little fist bump with Stir Callis in the middle.
Should be a couple.
Yeah, good chase there by Carrie Chan, one of 12 Hong Kong players we've got out here in this Fairbreak Invitational. Obviously, partnership with Cricket Hong Kong, who have helped make this tournament happen.
Here we saw Mariko Hill last night get the first wicket of the competition.
Yeah, saw her breakfast. She was very chuffed with that one. She thought, I'm in the history books and no one's going to take that away from me.
Yep, there for the winning runs as well for the Tornadoes. I should say the Falcons. Going to take a while to get a head around the team names, I think, George. At least a couple of days.
Yeah, team names, colours, shirts. I think we've got the hang of now. You know, you can't miss the Warriors in that bright yellow. Nice little Sapphires outfit. I like these two that are going on out here. But yeah, I think getting a name around these teams, and we'll see some celebrations and some dances. I've heard about the Tornadoes celebration to come from Diana Baig later, so wait and see if she's in the wickets.
Good from Garth. Extra pace. Hits the seam and jags back just as it did with Ismail in the previous over. Not far away from Callis's off stump. Classy stuff. We saw the outswinger earlier in the over, moving it both ways.
A little bit of a fumble there again by the wicketkeeper. It's just bouncing off her hands, but she'll find her form in a minute.
Again past the outside edge at pace.
Yeah, Stir Callis out there getting a little bit frustrated, maybe just trying to hit everything to the boundary. Just if you find the single, ease the frustration. It's not about smacking every ball across the boundary.
Pace off to finish. Ellis retains the strike. A classy over from Kim Garth to start. 2 overs left in the power play. Tornadoes 31 for 1. So many nations represented Tornadoes team sheet, including Sitharanamaga, the Nepalese all-rounder. Cash Miles from Hong Kong. Couple of overs left in this power play. They'll be thinking 50 from here.
It's
The
not.
ball going to get thrown to.
Looks like Shabnam Ismail's taking the ball still and passing it around, but it's not quite the fireworks we saw at the beginning of yesterday's match, is it? So we had the Warriors and the Falcons yesterday. Falcons victorious in that game, and we did see quite some batting. Obviously, there was a century, unbeaten century from Chamiri Atupatu in that game.
Yeah, what a start to the tournament. All 4 openers reaching 50. That's never happened in a T20 before, as far as women are concerned. So, yep, run feast here at Dubai, which you don't often say at this ground. Hash Farron's been swung around Dubai Sports City end. That's her 3rd wide. Unusual for Farron to have her radar off to this extent. Only played a couple of warm-up games for England before the World Cup. Didn't get an opportunity when the real stuff started, but yeah, over the last couple of years she's had those opportunities for England again, and for the most part taken them. given the flavour of this tournament, it would have been interesting if Barrett had the Greek flag on her shirt, given she was born in Athens.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I mean, I wonder how many others we could find in there that, you know, it could be someone's second nation.
Yeah, there'll be a little bit of that across the 90 players represented. Of course, 36 nations.
Yeah, also in that Sapphire squad, you've got Mariam Omar, who plays for Kuwait, but is of Pakistani origin, her parents. So that's another one.
Better from Farron. Yeah, winner for Durasunam, the Tornadoes team. It's carded to come in at number 9. See her later, the Malaysian captain all-rounder. Players from all around the world. I said something on commentary yesterday, like I can't wait to see the Argentine all-rounder get the ball in her hand. How often would we said that when thinking about international cricket? Oh, that's in the air. It'll just clear mid-on, it does. Wasn't far away. Here, Chamari Adipatu, you mentioned her century last night. A number of times she rocked back on the back foot and then down the ground as well. It was a punishing innings. They only had 3 full member players in their team as well. They were missing Danny White, but it didn't matter. That's when she brought up 100. Next ball, she secured the victory as well with a towering 6 over square leg. Unbeaten on 107. Chamari Adipatu loves the big stage. Touch and go. Will it be signalled? It won't. It would have been signalled wide in international cricket, but a slightly more generous interpretation in this competition.
Yeah, and with that Chamari Adipatu innings yesterday, obviously we didn't see Sri Lanka feature in this World Cup, so it's nice to see her back out on the big stage. And she, in the press conference afterwards, was just saying how much she enjoyed being back out there and just found her flow, really.
Not far away, inside edge onto the boot.
Yeah, I think Farron is just finding her radar. It's been off a little bit with a few down the leg side, but yeah, Callis couldn't quite get that one out there, and they've slowed a bit here, the Tornadoes.
Lead there down the leg side, keeping that down. 4 more byes there. Shot to finish. Callis into double figures in style. End of 5 overs. Tornadoes 38 for 1.
Mel Farrell and Jeff Lawson joining you for over number 6. SCG Fairbreak International. Game number 2. Tornadoes away to a decent start. 1 over left in the power play. Stair Callis starting to get some fluidity in a game. What a shot.
What a shot. It's not the only lovely shot we've seen a carve on the offside. So I've been really interested to watch her play. She's a real character. I've spoken to her a few times. Nice to see her out in the middle.
Oh, that's close. Thinking about it. Carrie Chen, the Hong Kong captain, comes on the bowl and appeals to the Hong Kong umpire. It gets no joy.
Well, talk about being interested in seeing how Stair plays, and certainly interesting to see how Chan bowls. Getting a bit of turn there. The ball just nipped in, maybe just going down outside.
Oh, again, just the first ball went on with the arm a little. That just stopped and bounced. Clever bowling from Carrie Chen. A little wider. I'll pick up a single.
She's the first Hong Kong woman to ever break into the top 100. So we're seeing some of the best here from Hong Kong. A few players, of course, Hong Kong being the board or the organisation that is facilitating this Fairbreak Invitational. Kerry Chan, she's been full of excitement so far.
A terrific back foot shot. We've seen Callis drive, now we've seen it cut.
Well, what did I say before about some of her play and her strokes on the offside? We've seen a lovely cover drive. We've seen her play square. There's any movement or any room that she's given that offside. We've seen some deft dabs down to third as well.
But keep your head over the ball, watch it onto the bat. That was another arm ball, didn't spin, came in towards Callis. Well bowled, Kerry Chan. Terrific contest between these two. Two have played for Fairbreak in the past, back a few years. On the same team together for Fairbreak. Well run. The running's been outstanding so far by well bowled Kerry Chan. Just 6 off that, it's 44 for 1. Taylor and Callis together. Sophie finds dismissal, and it's been a reasonable power play, 44 for 1, but not without its challenges. Like Shaping Ismail will be back on. She was a little unlucky early on, had a drop catch and then a nick between slip, then bowl an absolute jaffa to Sophie Devine that pitched, I don't know, outside off, hit the top of middle. That gets the best players out.
You don't often see Sophie Devine squared up like she was.
It's Kim Garth actually who's on. Bit of pace and a bit of bounce. That was the early drop. Cash Farron didn't quite have the radar going, and that was the jaffa. Sophie Devine makes it look like it doesn't bounce, but it bounced. There's some swing, sometimes controllable, sometimes not. Delightful chop backward. But that'll be 4. Wow. Extraordinary timing.
Well, just great timing. She's very patient. She waits for the ball when she needs to stare Callis, again favouring that offside. It was quite close to the body that time, but she managed to adjust, and just terrific placement. She played around the world a little bit, played for the Queensland Fires, played club cricket in Tasmania and in England as well.
Well, Kim Garth didn't look happy with that, but that's a dot. It swung away. It was well inside the wide guideline. You've got to take those. You have to mumble to yourself about that one. You say, I've got a dot. That's a win. Come back with something else.
Kim Garth often doesn't look at, unless everything's perfect. I think she must be a real perfectionist in life. She's a terrific player. She's made a real impact in the WBBL in Australia.
No run there.
For the Melbourne Stars last year, they had a lot of trouble in their batting lineup, and Kim Garth and Maya Bouchier, English player, they came in the middle order so many times and really saved it for the Stars. So she contributed both with batting and bowling very much, and was really impressive.
lower ball. Well bowled, Callis waits for it, content to take the single.
It's just slowed things down a little bit. It's been a bit of a sort of stop-start so far for the Tornadoes. That wicket of Sophie Devine obviously just slowing things up a little bit.
Another stroke down to third to complete the 7th over. The 50's up for the Tornadoes. They've lost just the 1 wicket. Seven overs gone in match number 2, SDG Fairbreak International here at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium. And there's just a different tempo to today's game as opposed to last night's match, but the batting really did dominate. Kerry Chan bowler, a very useful first over, so she's on for number 2, Stephanie Taylor.
Just trying to muscle the ball there. I think Chan is giving them an awful lot to think of in that previous over. A few little variations. Turn, arm ball.
In the air, but first bounce. Captain Ismail is so quick across the turf, but couldn't quite get that. The ball just hung in the air for a while. I thought it may have got to her, and perhaps she did as well.
The ball going from the sun to the shade on that side of the stadium as well.
Oh, that one sneaks a little low. I think it's about 2. I go back. Good outfielding, got to the ball quickly and got rid of it quickly, and that's the key to stopping that second run.
Oh, we've seen the ball running pretty quickly along that outfield. Some of the nicks that we've seen running off for 4 very quickly. Pressure on the fielders.
Oh, yes, Kerry!
Kerry Chan is actually Hong Kong's highest wicket taker in T20 internationals, and that mightn't surprise you from what we've just seen here in the 10 balls you delivered against world-class opponents. Sanamir just has a word that the skipper, experienced skipper, giving some advice. Paul just held it back. Little slower, quite deceptive. Another dot. Now we've got a big finish to the over. Last ball. Callis will be maybe looking for a big shot now. That was pitching middle and maybe hitting middle. Just 3 off the Kerry Chan second over. 8 gone, 53 for 1.
So it's been pretty impressive effort by Chan in particular, going at 4.5 runs and over. Full of tricks. This is the 1 wicket by Ishmael to dismiss Sophie Devine early on.
Some good figures for the Sapphires bowlers. And a little deceptive too. Ishmael was edged through the slips twice. Barron couldn't quite control the swing, but it was nice to see the swing. He challenged with the good deliveries. Chan's been terrific. And now, this is the veteran of world cricket, one of the greats of the game, hasn't played for a couple of years, but she tells me she's trained extraordinarily hard to be ready for this.
Well, it shows just how wonderful this tournament is as a concept, that it's lured her out of retirement, Sana Mir. Really keen to play in this tournament.
In the air, and that is beautifully fielded. That is a brilliant stop. I was just about to call that for a forward. We might check it to see if the foot's near the rope, but that's a brilliant piece of fielding in the deep.
Yeah, it was Kim Garth out there managing to stop the ball. It was a full toss, so a bit of a loose delivery first up by Sana Mir.
And already you can see Sana's tactic. It's to take as much pace off the ball as you can.
Kim Garth, what a gun in the field. Looked for all the money like that was going for 4. Just that one bounce. Manages to just tip it in and kept her feet off the rope as well. Outstanding and appreciated by Sana Mir.
That one's chopped away. Not very well timed. Might be more glove than bat on that. And Carrie Chan tidies up, so it is a no ball for over the waist.
Yeah, that one really floated. There's tossing it up, and then there's this. That was almost shoulder height. Alice almost wasn't sure what to do with it.
Free hit coming up. Gee, once again, the wily veteran takes every vestige of pace off the ball. Turned down the leg side. Was there something on that? No, it passed underneath the bat, so that's not a wide anymore, because the batter had a chance to hit it.
And a different interpretation. The leg side wide law used in this tournament.
Doesn't get out of the circle. At least Villani finds a way to a right. This is a fascinating over, Mel.
It's a bit of a mixed bag, I'd have to say. So maybe just a little bit of rustiness from Sana Mir. We've seen some good balls and we've seen some that aren't.
Well, it was a full toss, but it's just one, so Sana gets away with 9. I say get away with it, just that she probably did. So 9 gone, 62 for 1. Warm out there in the middle today. A lot more. Yesterday was quite pleasant here in Dubai, just high 20s. Today we're into the mid 30s. Late in the afternoon, the shadows are coming across the ground, so that will certainly help the players. But at the moment, it's a hot argument out there in the middle.
I can confirm that. Having been down for the coin toss, it was roasting down there. We were melting. It is quite pleasant once the sun goes down, protected inside this lovely stadium.
Carrie Chan and for over 3, and Steph Callis. Well, I've had enough of defending this. That is a delightful strike to bring up the 50 partnership.
Absolutely glorious again from Steph Callis, who's just been all class. Gee, she's played some classy shots, and this is one of them, straight down the ground. Chan, nothing she can do about it. She's bowled really well so far, but this time Stair just took her on and came down the wicket.
Oh, a little bit quicker, brilliantly bowled. And Babette the lead completes a wonderful dismissal. Top-class cricket.
Top-class cricket, and seeing too the associate players put on their best. Some terrific bowling. That's been a great innings by Callis. And wonderful work behind the stumps by Delede. Went down the ground again. She took it quite a way to her right. Good reactions. Excellent work.
So, after the fall of that second wicket, we will go for a drink. It's just about the 10th over. 68 for 2, the Tornadoes. Welcome back to Dubai. We're in the middle of an outstanding Kerry Chan spell. Tasha Miles, the new batter, and that's another challenge as well, because we've got the Hong Kong captain against one of her best players. Let's just have a look at that Stair Callis dismissal. Callis was on fire here. Had just hit Kerry Chan down the park for 6. Well, this is the next ball.
Yeah, it was brilliant response. She looked pretty unimpressed when she was hit straight back over her head by Stair Callis in the previous ball. It was a wonderful response.
This time Stefani Taylor goes downtown and brilliantly stopped. They certainly have saved some runs in the outfield.
They have indeed. Gabby Lewis doing the work on the boundary there. Again, wonderful, wonderful work just to stay in and not touch the rope. Like a fellow countrywoman Kim Garth saw earlier, struck the ball brilliantly on the rope as well. Good advertisement for Irish fielding.
Have a look at this one from behind. Brilliant, brilliant Lewis. brilliantly bowled as well. What a great end to the Chan over. She's got 1 for 18 of 3. The Tornadoes, the halfway marker, 71 for 2.
Well, commentary change. I've got Isabel Duncan with me in the commentary. Shaping up to be a great first innings.
Absolutely, at 10 overs now, 71 for 2. Take a note of the score, because you've got to think about bonus points later on at the 10 over mark. Those bonus points could be crucial later on, the latter stages of this tournament. New bowler now. Tika Kodali.
Cut away down to third man, and they're scurrying back for 2. It's going to be close. And we're heading upstairs. Could we see another quick wicket?
This could be a close one. The tension mounts here. Sapphires are looking confident. They're high-fiving each other.
Let's have a look. Putting in the dive, Natasha Miles, but she has come up a long way short, and that's a huge wicket. Huge wicket for the Sapphires, and they go bang bang.
And that's the end of Natasha Miles. Out for 1. She's not having a good time of it at the moment, Natasha Miles. She's been out here for a while, actually, hasn't she, playing for Hong Kong against the UAE. Score now 72 for 3.
And that brings in Sune Lewis to the crease, captain of South Africa. 83 matches, 866 runs. And a play and a miss. Advantage the Sapphires, is he?
Absolutely. Sune Lewis, certainly with a lot of experience, but having trouble out here. So we're going to have the run out. They just stall on that second run. And it's Miles for the dive, the despairing dive. It's a great throw. And she's well out.
That's cut away as runs round to drag it in. What a dive. Is it coming back, threatening for 3? I
think that might be
going
a 4.
upstairs.
That is going upstairs, I think. That's going to have to be looked at forensically. Omar, who put the dive in.
What a dive, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, that's a phenomenal piece of fielding. Dropped into the offside, but let's have a replay of that phenomenal bit of fielding. Mariam Omar in the action.
A great arm. That's a better length there from Kodali.
There she is. She'll be over the moon. That's a phenomenal bit of fielding in the action, and She's doing a phenomenal job for the Sapphires teammates.
Kadika Kadali. USA. She's only 17 years old. In the air, should be out. Yes, it is. It's an easy catch in the end. It's the end of Taylor, out for 19 of 22 deliveries. And the score now 75 for 4. The Tornadoes struggling here.
Let's see this again. Cross-batted shot that's just on the toe of the bat and it's gone nowhere. Adnan Ishmael running around and taking a very regulation catch, and Tornadoes now 75 for 3. Correction, 75 for 4. That brings Alia Riaz to the crease. Lewis just punches that out to short cover.
Alia Riaz of Rawalpindi, 29 years old, international debut in 2014.
Look through at this wicket again. Just didn't get it, got it low on the bat, and like you said, a regulation catch, and a lot of wickets falling compared to yesterday's match.
Absolutely an easy catch in the end. Here she is, Kadali Shizin, the 17-year-old, and that is going to be out. Rather stuck in the crease there, Stefani Taylor. That is a great scalp for the 17-year-old. She will be absolutely thrilled with that. Kadali of the USA.
Kerry Chan having a huge impact on this match. Kerry Chan, the young Hong Kong captain coming in, had 4 matches, Hong Kong versus the UAE, leading into this. It just carries on with the arm. Kerry Chan done a great job for her side here, walking straight through her 4 overs on the trot. You don't see that often in 2020 cricket.
Absolutely, the captain here, Salome, has got faith in her. She's got an international head about her. Kerry Chan, very impressive.
That's hit out to cover for 1 run, and that's going to end the 12th over. The score 79 for 4.
Very impressive there from Kerry Chan, going at only 5.5 and over. 1 for 22 of her figures as she bounced through those 4 overs with her wily left arm wrist spin.
playing a miss through to the keeper, and it's going to be interesting, Izzy, as we move our way through this tournament and getting a feel for what past scores are going to be. It was a high-scoring match yesterday, and I think talking to the teams and the coaches, everybody's just trying to get a feel for their own team, the opposition, the ground. So we're all on this journey together.
Absolutely, and of course this is the first game in daylight as well, isn't it? Yesterday we started at 8 o'clock under the lights. Different playing conditions. Lowest score in this match so far. Playing well here, Kadali. She is inexperienced, at only 17 years old. She's played 6 T20 internationals. She's 6 foot tall, so she uses her height to get a bit of bounce. And she's a faithful fair breaker, having played in that Bradman game at Barrel in 2020, back in February.
Another fine bit of fielding down there by Mariam Omar. The ball seems to be following her today, and she's up to the task.
Just stifled the runs a bit here with, I think, the bowling mainly of Chang, suffocating the runs. And you look at the run rate now, has dropped down to 6.4, was up at 9 at the beginning of the game.
That's a wicket. A feather on it straight through to the keeper, and another one falls. That's 80 for 5.
And it's Sunny Luz who's out as well, the South African. Very little foot movement there. And just catches the edge. Clever bowling from Kadali. Again, that's her second wicket, the 17-year-old, the teenager, is really in amongst it there. It's 80 for 5, Tornadoes.
And that brings Katie Martin to the crease. Very, very experienced New Zealand wicketkeeper batter. And she's going to have a bit of work to do.
Absolutely, 199 matches for New Zealand. And a handy commentator too. The gift of the gab. Likes a bit of banter on the pitch.
Heck of a length and a play and a miss. Fantastic bowling here from Kadali. Yeah, Katie Martin in the World Cup, we saw her play that role of steadying the innings a little bit and getting the innings back on track, and she's going to have to do something very similar here, albeit in 2020 cricket.
Absolutely, I just think that bounce climbing on her a bit there, Katie Martin. It's Kadali's height, just making the most of it.
Yeah, another one. Play and a miss. And that is the end of the over number 13. The score is 80 for 5. And welcome back here, and what is shaping up to be one-way traffic in the Sapphires direction. A steady fall of wickets, 80 for 5 after 13, and there's a fair amount of work to do now to get up to a competitive total. Looking at that Manhattan just before, you can see the runs really tailing off there.
genuine edge down there to third man. They just scamper through for 1. 81 for 5. Just going back to Kadali's bowling, pretty fantastic from her. Her figure's 2 for 5 and an economy rate of 2.5. It really is worth mentioning, Kadali. It's Garth at the moment. Will be bowling to Martin. Martin, the experienced New Zealand player.
Oh, bottom edge. It really is all happening here. And I tell you what, it's not the wicket. I can assure you that. You were out there before the match having a look at it, Izzy. I think it looked pretty good. It looked pretty batsman friendly.
Absolutely. And of course I was basing it on that. That is a genuine inside edge there. It didn't carry to the keeper, but feeling a little bit wobbly out there, Martin, the new batsman, here facing Garth at the moment.
Oh, and that was full Yorker and dug out by Katie Martin. Welcome to the crease.
Yeah, you just get the feeling there's a little bit more lateral movement out today on that pitch and off the seam as well. Late swing. It's a full toss, but it's late swing.
The second match on this wicket. We played on it last night, but not too much change. And there's the head groundsman there. They scurry through for 1 wicket.
Yeah, it just feels like a different complexion at the moment, this pitch out there, compared to last night. And we can compare it, of course, but they were playing under the lights, and there's a little bit more dew around, of course, in the evening and the twilight hours, which does affect how you play, but much more of a batsman's wicket than last night. Looked to be sliding down leg.
It's going to be a learning experience for everyone. We touched on learning about your players, but conditions as well. Many of the players have never played under lights before. So for those playing in the second game in the evening, it's going to be a unique challenge in all aspects for them to adapt and grow as the tournament goes on. Squirted into the leg side for 1 run, and that concludes the 14th over. Takes the score to 83 for 5. We look through that scorecard. Devine sold a start, 10 off 9. Quickly fell to a fine piece of bowling. Ellis, 32 off 29. Taylor struggled to get going, 19 off 23. A series of low scores.
Keeping it tight here, Kadali. It's good wicket-to-wicket bowling from her, and she is getting that extra bounce with her height. Keeping it tight, she's not allowing the batsmen to free their arms and score runs at the moment. You just feel the pressure is building up here for the Tornadoes. 5 wickets down.
Certainly is looking a bit tougher than it was last night. Really going to be interesting to assess what that good score is coming into the last phase of the innings. What are the Tornadoes going to be targeting out there? What's going to be a defendable total on this wicket, on this ground?
Clever running there. It's a bit of tip and run from Riaz, and steals a single there off Kadali. Halfway through this Kadali over, her figure's now 2 for 6. this third Kadali over. The 17-year-old bowling tightly.
Worked into the leg side and running round to cut that off. They're coming back for 2.
Keep going, girls!
Start to the over. Yeah, well, it's going to be an interesting batting partnership, this, like we spoke about, coming into the last phase of the innings. Katie Martin perhaps going to play that support role. And Aliyah Riaz, known for her boundary striking, great striking ability. Best score of 41 against England at a strike rate of 124.
Be short there. It's in the air, but it's not catchable. Just gone behind point, and it will go for 4. Came off the meat of the bat there from Martin, and just you can feel that valve being released a little bit there with the pressure. They've got to be inventive, these two. They've got to keep up and get a better run rate to put up a competitive score.
See the ball just dropping short, but wide, and Katie Martin up to the task, but just out of reach of the diving Farron. And a dot ball to end the over. Score after 15 overs, 90 for 5, and we're poised.
Well, a collapse of 4 for 12, which changed this Tornadoes innings into the death now. Just 5 overs to go. They were flying at one stage. And now they're in a hole. Principally due to Kadali, 17-year-old. 2 for 12. She's been outstanding for the Sapphires. Bring back the experience of Tash Parent. 2 overs up her sleeve from the final 5 here. Adam Collins picking up commentary. Georgie Heath with me. Georgie, Kadali, you've been engaging with her through the last few days with the social media chat and all the rest of it. And she's a cricketer who has been willing to move from one side of the country to the other in America to advance her career here at Fairbreak. She's got a long journey ahead of her.
Yeah, it seems so. Also, it was great being alongside her. She's a very tall bowler, so it's, as a tall person myself, I feel like we've got a little union going on here. But yeah, if you're that dedicated, you're going to move around the country to play, why not?
Thick edge 4. Straight into the hands of first slip. The lead up to the stumps had no chance. Martin into double figures. They made room. Shuffled outside the leg stump, but yes.
We've had a few runs scored down there today, haven't we? A bit different to yesterday's bish bash bosh. But you'll take the runs either way at this point if you're a Tornadoes fan.
Pace off, well played to the gap. Albeit just for 1. Katie Martin nearing 200 appearances for New Zealand. Score so far, Callis leading that on 32. Decision. The right call made in the end. Delaney charging it off the right. White brimmed hat out there at deep mid wicket.
Yeah, I suppose. Oh, there, look at there. We've got Stair Callis. She's got her, as another trademark of hers, always wears zinc no matter what the weather. But yeah, she was going along nicely earlier. She'll be disappointed to be out in the way she was. Held up there by Katie Martin. They scramble across for one, and they're, you know, you feel it's a very different innings to the matches we saw yesterday. There's lots of big hitting, but you know, once you hit that century, hit that team century, you sort of feel like it's a bit of a mental block that you've passed there. So Tornadoes just looking to get that and then maybe start to motor a bit.
Forward straight to finish from Tash Farrant. 4 overs to go. Tornadoes 98 for 5. An experienced pair in Riaz and Martin, trying to see the Tornadoes through to, as you say, beyond 100 and maybe up around 130 they can get their skates on. Martin knows his finisher role well. Played for a long time for New Zealand across the white ball formats. Need her here, the Tornadoes.
Looks like Shabnam Ismail will be taking the ball here. We saw that, that wicket from her earlier. It was very much one of those for the record books. Another video you'd like to see over and over again as a bowling coach. You know, just took out the top of middle stump, does exactly what she does so well. It's just directing traffic here. And Katie Martin looking to face up to Shabnam Ismail out there. Tornadoes looking worried in their dugout there.
Yep, she's been doing it for years, Ismail. International, he was a teenager way back in 2007. Had an excellent World Cup, second most wickets across that competition back in February and March. 14 victims at 15.6. Up 3 wickets on 3 occasions, including against England in the semi-final. Albeit an unsuccessful semi-final for the Proteas. Ranked number 2 in the world in one-day cricket, number 3 in the world in T20 cricket. No one faster than Shabnam Ismail. Katie Martin getting in a tangle there, trying to go leg side again as she did in the previous over. Not sure where that hit her, but down in her haunches.
Yeah, just followed her there, didn't she, Ismail?
I remember Ismail's first game in the Women's Big Bash League. It was a game against the Melbourne Stars in the Melbourne Derby in the first season. She clocked at 128 kilometres an hour, which at the time still remains the fastest we've seen in women's cricket. You look at her, she's 5'4". That's well struck. Bellani with work to do, but it ends up spilling into the rope, and that brings up the 100 for the Tornadoes. Bellani did well to reach the contest, but struck nicely enough from Martin. Her third boundary, 102 for 5.
Vellani there did the hard work. She made the yards in the sun out there, but just spilled it over the boundary at that last minute there to bring up that 100 for the Tornadoes, and that's that mental aspect of it we were talking about earlier, reaching that triple figures.
So she's trying to make room outside the leg stump, or what should I say, open up the offside. There's only one fielder outside the circle on the offside. That's down at deep third. Ismail's extra pace. A very fine leg. Deep backward square, deep mid-wicket. Mid-on inside the circle. No deep point. So that's why Martin keeps shuffling back and exposing her stumps, and Ismail equal to it so far. Well bowled again. Running her fingers down the seam, bowling it into the pitch. Deceiving the right-handed batter.
Yeah, and when it's got that kind of pace on it, there's very little you can do. Obviously, Ismail been around a while. She's part of that dangerous trio you see at South Africa. Her Marizan cap playing for the Falcons here, and then obviously we've got Ayabonga here. Ayabonga Kaka. Just getting too excited.
And not just those three. Tingle. Ismail having to do the work off her own bowling. Martin up to 18. You've got Muzabata Class, who's been great nick for South Africa in recent months, and Nadine de Klerk, who was nearly a match winner in the semi-final against Australia a couple of years ago. So 5 genuine opening bowling options for South Africa. They're the best seam attack in the world, but they fell at the penultimate hurdle against England in the World Cup recently. They did 2020 T20 World Cup in Australia and 2017 in the 50 over World Cup too. Another quick single. Ishmael collects and looks to throw, thinks better of it, hurls it into the turf. The end of 17 overs, 3 to go for the Tornadoes. They're up to 104 for 5. Throw Duneva Nikirk into the mixer too as the main spinner when she's available, out injured at the moment, the accident she had before the World Cup. But you look at them on paper, they are as close to Australia as any team in the world with the bowlers they have at their disposal.
Yeah, and we're lucky to see a fair few of them at this Fairbreak Invitational. Obviously we've got Sune Loose obviously featuring as well, who captained that South African side.
To the business end for the Tornadoes. Can they clear the ropes? Aliyah Riaz is disposed to doing that. She's hit 13 sixes in T20Is. The only Pakistan woman with more sixes is Nida Dar. So she knows how to do it. 9 from 15 so far today. Back on strike to Kim Garth, who bowled well earlier. Moved the ball both ways, the Irish seamer. Fielders outside the circle are long on. Deep mid-wicket, deep backward square. And a deep third beneath us at the Dubai Sports City end. Good restart there. Kim Garth, who was good pick-up for the Sydney Sixers in the WBBL back when they run to a couple of titles in second and third edition of that competition. Came in just for the finals when the South African players went off to international duty. They were able to call up Kim Garth and played in 2 championship teams. Lands a slower ball. Oh, has that been taken at mid-off? It has. It's the skipper, Sana Mir, turning back the clock. So getting it above the eye line there, Kim Garth. Back of the hand slower ball to die for. Riaz opened up. And I have completely misread that entirely. I thought that the way they were, I thought it might have gone straight to Sana Mir from our angle, but no, just a good piece of fielding. I shouldn't second guess myself. The response as well. They're just getting around Sana Mir on the basis that she's out every time. Saving 4 runs there.
Life in the old dog yet, perhaps. But it's, yeah, it was a nice bit of fielding there from Sana Mir.
They did respond like she'd taken the catch.
They did. Oh, I was convinced too. Don't worry.
Slapped out the deep point.
Maybe that's just the incitement. Everyone to be here at this point. You know, everything's exciting. Bit of fielding. Good bit of fielding. Seeing Sana Mir just out on the pitch is exciting in itself anyway, so we can all get behind that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with them being quite excited about their captain diving away and saving 4. It's just unusual to see that kind of response to a piece of good fielding, alas. We're allowed to look silly at moments like that. It's all okay. It's all part of the job. That's a useful change up there from Kim Garth. Banging into the track a fraction quicker. Riaz should be looking to play across the line to that, just couldn't catch up with it. Let it sail through to the gloves of the lead. Mentioned before that Kim Garth's looking to qualify for Australia at the moment. A wonderful addition to that exceptional team when she does complete that process. I think she's about 18 months away from being able to turn out for Australia, thereabouts. Throw ball picked up by Riaz.
Yeah, obviously Kim Garth playing for Ireland at the moment. We've got Celeste Rack featuring in the tournament too, so a nice little Irish representation, and obviously they brought in their professional contract recently, which is a great move from them.
Yeah, Gabby Lewis, who we'll see response here, player I should say, for the Sapphires. That was one of the inaugural players issued a contract back in 2019. Just the one to Villani. Into the 18th over, 108 for 5 to score. So they'll have Farrant and Ismail to finish the innings. Garth completing her 4 overs, none for 21. Exceptional. Chan important in the middle overs, 1 for 22. Badali the standout, 2 for 12 from her 3. Contributing to that collapse of 4 for 12 in the middle overs. Will be Kodali who gets the penultimate over. Good height, hitting the seam. Martin was on the advance.
Yeah, it's a testament to how well she's already bowled today, Kodali. If you just look at that, Katie Martin's so experienced, but she's equal to it.
Well, she's 6 foot tall and she uses every inch, doesn't she? The way that she lets the ball go can generate extra bounce. Quick single. Gone by a mile had the throw been on song. Villani out there at extra cover.
Yeah, she'd back herself to make that usually, wouldn't she, Elise Villani?
I suppose she had 1 stumps away, Matt. The degree of difficulty is fairly high on that measure, but yeah, got a good look. Not far away. That's the training drill they do hour after hour, isn't it? Throwing at 1 stump. Sailing out a deep backward square and plugging in front of the fielder running in from the rope. They come back for a second. Kim Garth just lost that in the sun. She's in the only part of the field at the moment where she's still very much in the sun. Correct hit would have been gone there as well too. Wide not called. Riaz doesn't like it.
Dali will be pleased to go away with these figures at the end of the day, should these two not go too far over the boundary with her remaining 2 balls here.
As you pointed out before, Georgie, a lot of runs scored down at deep third through the course of this innings. It might have been the most productive quadrant of the ground for the Tornadoes behind point.
And I think we're going to call that the commentator's curse. Just saying, you know, her figures are looking really good. Don't let the boundaries leak, and it's gone for 4. But yeah, it's in the same spot. We've seen a lot leak down there today.
Don't buy into that commentator's curse nonsense, Georgie. You're better than that. Yeah, Kodali, though, it must be said that we made the point on commentary yesterday that there's a great opportunity for players from associate nations to use this as a shop window and get themselves picked up on in other domestic competitions around the world. And there'll be plenty of people watching her bowl here. Done a great job. Single to finish, but her figures of 2 for 20 really opened up the game for the Sapphires. 1 over to go in the Tornadoes innings. They're 116 for 5. Mentioned Kodali moved from one side of America to the other. She was living on the West Coast where there's less cricket, moved to North Carolina where there's more cricket, and only 17 years of age. It's a big commitment from her family to give her every opportunity in that national team. Part of the Fairbreak movement since 2020, playing the Bradman game there just before the pandemic. Bowrell. Tika Katali has enhanced her reputation through the course of 4 overs today, 2 for 20. Now Shabnim Ismail, who got the party started for the Sapphires, bending the middle stump back of Sophie Devine inside the power play, gets the chance to complete her job in the 20th over. Never given the Tornadoes an opportunity to put the foot down in the second half of the innings. One out on the offside at deep third, 3 back on the leg side. Mid on inside the circle. Ooh, indecision. Martin made the right call to stay put. Riaz 19 from 24. She struck just 1 boundary, Georgie. She's not been able to do as we know she can, which is clear the rope. She's just struggled with her timing for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just not quite found it today, has she? She's not quite found her timing, and she's looking almost to try too hard at that point. When you're just missing it out a little bit, you try and put that extra bit into it, and she's trying to hit it too much, but she just keep it ticking over. She's got Katie Martin at the other end, so it's not, she's got a trusted batting partner, and I think that, what are we looking at? We could go for at least 10 from these final 4 balls, but when you've got someone like Shabnim Ismail bowling at you, that's always difficult.
Too quick. Chance for a run out and misses again. Perhaps the easiest of the set. And we've seen 3 opportunities to mow the stumps down in the last over or so. Ismail probably had a bit longer than she thought there because Riaz had given up. That got big on her. She could have taken a beat. Excellent bowling. Ismail pace off, knows that Martin is going leg side in order to access deep point. Slips through with the slower ball. Martin skiddled for 22. Ismail gets her second wicket.
Yeah, and that's just the pace of Ismail there, the precision. She's just looking so good. She's just got that bit of a cutter there, and that's the second time today she's sent bails flying. It's a very happy Shabnim Ismail there, and the Sapphires are looking dominant. They've got the Tornadoes 119 for 6 with just 2 balls remaining in the innings.
Two balls to go. And bowls her as well. You miss, Ismail hits. That's the 3rd time she's bent the stumps back. Once at the start and twice at the end. She'll be on a hat-trick for the final ball. Diana Baig bowled for a golden duck.
Oh, and that is Shabnim Ismail at her best. We've seen some phenomenal bowling from her today. The bails flying. Diana Baig, you can't expect her to come out and do that much for her side as a tail ender. 119 for 7 with just 1 ball remaining for this Tornadoes innings.
Shanita Sidarung from Thailand walking out for the hat-trick ball, the final ball of the innings. Ismail, can she finish the job? Oh, ever so close to a hat-trick. Well, I'll tell you what, that will be interesting. She was on the advance. They'll go upstairs, I expect, or was she back? Either way, there'll be no run from the final ball. A superb final over from Shabnim Ismail.
Yeah, they just strangled the Tornadoes at the end there for them to finish 190 for 7. Yeah, it was a display of bowling like you would only expect from Shabnim Ismail to take 3 wickets for 20 from her 4 overs today.
So just 29 runs coming in the final 5 overs, losing 2 wickets to Tornadoes there in consecutive deliveries. Only 3 runs in the 20th.
Welcome back to match 2 of the SDG Fairbreak Invitational. The Tornadoes versus the Sapphires. Well, Tornadoes were asked to bat first, and we had a very different outlook in today's game too than last night, where it was a run fest. Vine and Callis looked good early. Halo couldn't quite find a timing. It looked like the Tornadoes might get a total around the 150, but then the bowling and the fielding in particular were absolutely outstanding. Let's have a look at the highlights in the batting.
Barrett and Ishmael, both of them with pace, finding the edge a fair amount. And Ishmael in the end taking 3 with her pace. There she is bowling one of the batsmen. She bowls 2. That's more runs. Get off the back foot. It's Garth from Ireland. And Chan. We like the look of Chan from Hong Kong. Being hit for 6. Next ball, it's a wicket. Just luring that batsman Callis out and taking the bails off. Beautiful piece of bowling. Back to Ishmael. It's in the air. And here's a wonderful piece of fielding from Omar. Ball back in. Despairing dive. And she's out. It's Miles. This time he's out for 2. Ishmael again. It's in the air. It's hanging in the air. It's an easy catch in the end for Ishmael. Always in the action there. That's Kadali. 17 years old. Wonderful figures from her. 2 for 20 in the end. The teenage sensation from the USA. Just beats point. Finding the edge again for Kadali. Ishmael back in the action once more. 3 for 20 from her. 2 of them, no, 3 of them clean bowled. And there is the 3rd one. Ishmael all fires. Really going for it out there. Sanamir delighted. I think that's a below par score, 119 for 7. Wait and see what the Sapphires can do.
Well, the bowling numbers tonight are somewhat different to last night. The bowlers got amongst the action after Ishmael early was unlucky with a couple of edges. He produced that brilliant delivery to get Devine. Great contribution between the top level players and the associate players. Carrie Chan came on. I think the game turned when she bowled her 4 overs. 1 for 22. Sanamir, the veteran, just the 1 over. She didn't extend herself tonight, and that was probably a clever move. And then Gadita Kadali from the USA, 2 for 20, and that 20 included an edge away for 4 in the last over. That was brilliant stuff from the teenager from North Carolina. Terrific debut in the tournament for Gadika. 6'2", just a teenager, 17. Bowls a good pace, good bounce. She's got all the characteristics of a top-level international player.
She certainly uses her height, doesn't she? As you said, 6'2", and that bounce climbing on a number of the batters out there and causing a few problems. And also tight bowling from her, wicket-to-wicket bowling, not giving anybody any room.
Turn around here, and as we'll try and defend 119. We saw 177 not defendable last night, but look, I think the pitch is doing a bit more. It's still a very good batting surface, but there's just a fraction more turn, maybe a fraction more uneven bounce, but it's just giving the bowlers something to work with tonight. Last night they had really zero help from the pitch, but there is something there. And the Tornadoes will have to find it with their bowling lineup. Baig will be a big part of that. They want to get some early wickets and new ball strikes to get them in the game.
Yeah, well, it was a fresh pitch, of course, last night, being the opening match. And, 1 game's already been played on it. They will play 4 or 5 games on this pitch. It'll be interesting to see how it plays by the time we get to the last game. Whether you get a low bounce or a bit more movement and grip for the spinners.
On this pitch, which is holes at the end. Look, as we said, it was brilliant yesterday, and it's been very good today. A little hotter today, though, is he? So maybe a little more moisture sucked out of the surface. We thought it was quite a pleasant day in Dubai yesterday, but very hot. You're out there doing the pitch report early, and you...
Absolutely. Well, I mean, in Dubai, of course, the weather is very consistent, certainly is at the moment. The temperature's around 35 degrees. It dries out extremely quickly, and I think that's partly why they use that Pakistan clay, which retains a lot of moisture and just helps to preserve the pitch a little bit and to give it some bounce. But certainly yesterday the ball was coming onto the bat, and we talked about a batting festival. It looked easier yesterday, but maybe the bowling was impressive today. We had the quicks with the new ball, Shabneem Ismail and Natasha Farrant opening in. Left arm and right arm combination is always tricky for batters to begin with in an innings.
And Tashran did swing the ball as well, which we didn't see a lot of last night. In fact, she swung a couple too far and got called some lines. I know it actually makes it tougher for the bowler to get your line, but when she did get the line right, as ever, she was pretty tough to handle.
New batsman coming out here, Villani.
Well, there's a veteran, Elise Villani, the Australian, 32 years of age, long career with the Australian side. Get her opportunity to form the first partnership. First time she's probably ever batted with Gabby Lewis, I would imagine. So we'll see what their understanding between the wickets is. The Irish woman and the Aussie. Sometimes that's not a great combination. They can get a bit volatile, Aussies and the Irish, but we'll see how they go together.
Well, this is the thing with all these fresh faces and players who've never met each other before. You're going to get a few communication problems and also language barriers, I think, here and there as well.
Oh, particularly between the Aussies and the Irish. Can't understand a word they say.
Here
we go, Diana Baig. Terrific start. A little bit of outswing. Great length.
Yeah, looking good with that new ball. Getting a little bit of lateral movement. Movement off the seam as well. Green tufts on this pitch. Great shape from Diana Baig there.
There's a slip-in position. We've seen that in every innings with the new ball so far in the three we've had in the tournament. Absolutely on the money.
Great stump-to-stump bowling. Nice tight bowling from it's being the power play. Only two fielders outside of the ring. Down there at long leg. Also at third man on the ropes.
See the slip standing wide. That's a classic white ball position. You don't stand at a normal first slip. You can cover some territory and maybe take the catch if you stand wide. Quick single, but the fielder stumbles just for a moment. I thought they'll have to scurry here. They get through, and the Sapphires make their first run of the tournament.
Yeah, we're now bathed in shadow here in the ground, much to the relief of the players. It was pretty hot earlier on, and they were in the field earlier on in that first innings. You had to feel for them. Plenty of shade now. Things will have cooled down a bit.
It took a bit of pad down the leg side. Eddie Martin asked the question. Well, the call with the new interpretation is if you could have hit it, you got to try and hit it. Don't just let the ball go down the leg side, especially when it's that close.
Nice looking drive for nothing there in the V from Lewis.
We'll bowl that one again. Oh, we'll
losing her run up there, I think.
The first time, because she didn't actually bowl it.
Diana Begg has to stalk back to her mark following that. Gabby Lewis, the Irish woman, waiting patiently, only 21 years old. Played for Southern Brave, Southern Vipers, Scorchers. T20 international debut in 2014 versus South Africa.
Nice stroke for no run. First over completed. Good one for the bowling side, just one on the board.
So Villani just won and Lewis no, so 1 for no loss after that first over.
The 3 completed innings in the tournament so far, the openers have been very aggressive and haven't been afraid to go in the air in the opening over. All circumspect in this Sapphires chase, perhaps. They're only chasing 119. I say only, it's runs on the board. Always important. Make the other side chase, get the game for the last over. Now the tie bowler. The Karashis trading hard on the game. It's a nice shot, but can't pick the gap.
Yes, Sutirang of Thailand out there bowling at the moment, 28 years old, debuted in 2018. Nickname is Ked, not sure where that comes from.
Swing, a little bit of swing down the leg side and just too far. We did see some swing from the Tornadoes opening bowlers, also the Sapphires opening bowlers, and that one went a little bit too far. I don't think Sutirang was quite expecting that to go that far down the leg side. Katie Martin made a good job of cleaning that one up. And a Baig just there behind point. Scolani just being bogged down a little, 1 off 5. Double header here at the Dubai International Stadium. 8 o'clock start for the Barmy Army versus the Spirit. Now Lewis goes in the air and not far enough. First wicket down. So the first attempt to hit over the field fails. And Elise Villani gets out. The Sutirang. Pretty easy catch.
Easy catch in the end, absolutely. And nice bit of late in-swing. She those lethal in-swingers, this Thai lady. 2 for 1 now into this second over in the power play, the Sapphires.
Number 3 for the Sapphires is their wicketkeeper, the Dutch international. Can't get off the mark. Let's just have a look at how Elise Villani is dismissed.
Just plays out a little bit too early, and it's an easy catch in the end, taking it mid-off. Delaney only out for 1. Great piece of bowling. Nice late in-swing.
More swing, and that one takes the inside half of the bat. It almost snuck through. Almost.
Finding that inside edge. She had fun with the gloves, didn't she, Delede, earlier on? Took
Well,
2 catches behind the stumps.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag. Missed a couple earlier, then took a brilliant stumping.
Paid up for it.
Bowled. But they do get through for the single. Delede gets off the mark. 2 overs gone. The Sapphires are 4 for 1. On for 4, 2 overs gone. The Tornadoes needed to make a good start. They have. Got a big score on the board. Abeg on for her second. Consecutive overs, and that might sound a bit strange, they're consecutive overs, but in T20 so often we see 1 over spells. Quick changes by the bowling captain, perhaps because they've taken that early wicket. That's given the opportunity for Baig to have another go, perhaps at the new batter.
Just feel the pressure building up here for the Sapphires. It's a slow start in this power play. If you look at that first innings for the Tornadoes, they got, after 6 overs, they were 44 for 1. So it's kind of what they need to be aiming for to keep up with the run rate here in the chase, the Sapphires. But pressure mounting, too many dot balls.
So Delede takes them on. Plays the aggressive shot. That is a very fine stroke.
Yeah, she saw it nice and early. That came right out of the meat of the bat. She knows where the gaps are here, Babette Delede. The pull off the front foot. Just dragged it down a little bit too much there, Diana Rigg.
Yeah, that stroke, it has caused a change in the field. The slip comes out. There was only 3 on the leg side, and I think Babette Delede saw that, figured, well, I can score on the leg side. Not too many defenders there. There's an extra one now. Baig gets the line right. Maybe the length as well.
Just released a little bit of pressure there, Delede, with that boundary. Need runs at this stage. Able to penetrate that ring. Only 2 fielders outside of it. Come out the meat of the bat.
All stray down the leg side, but there's a fielder there to defend that. They just pick up a single.
Run rate up to 3 now, just creeping up. They've got some work to do here, Sapphires.
Good finish to the over from Diana Baig. The Sapphires from 3 overs now are 9 for 1. Welcome back to Dubai International Stadium. 3 overs gone in the Sapphires innings, and they've lost a wicket, and it's been a cautious start. The T-Ring has picked up her first wicket, and we've been joined by a special guest here, Heather Knight. Not that comfortable sitting next to someone from the Barmy Army, but welcome anyway.
I'm very comfortable. Hello, England.
Thanks for having me.
A little bit of swing today. We see a bit more swing today than we did last week. We've been watching the game and just noting what the ball's been doing, but certainly Tash Farrant swung a few early.
Yeah, we obviously had to leave for the ground, so I only got the first sort of 30 minutes of the game, but yeah, it looked like it swung a little bit more. I think conditions change quite a lot actually as the lights go on and as it gets darker here.
Another boundary save. We saw a lot in the tornado sittings as the Sapphires fielded brilliantly. Turned a lot of 4s into 2s. So you had some fielding here under the lights the other night. Did you get a feel for the actual conditions when you do that, or do you need to have a proper centre wicket practice?
Yeah, you definitely get a feel. You get used to the ground, used to the angles. It's a beautiful ground, isn't it? Perfectly cylindrical, and actually it's quite unique because the lights go all the way around. Usually you're used to five or six big lights, which you obviously have to deal with, but here every single time the ball goes into the air, it goes into those lights, so it presents quite a unique challenge.
Here it is, the Ring of Fire as known.
Johnny Cash.
Heather might not know about Johnny Cash, but anyway.
Oh, I love that song, it's a great song.
Well done, Heather. Deep respect.
Bit of width on offer this time, and that one makes the gap. Babette Delete gets her first boundary, and the Sapphires just break the shackles for the moment.
Just releasing that pressure. Played very late there. Guided down to third man.
It'll be really interesting actually how the pitch plays under lights. Obviously got a keen eye on how it plays today, playing under lights this evening, and it doesn't look quite as good a wicket as it did the other day, but nice boundary there, nice half volley straight through the covers.
That's what you do with a half volley. You cannot put that away any better. That's a lovely stroke.
Doesn't matter about the pitch when it's that late, does it?
Now, the pitch yesterday was an absolute belter. Let in the scores. I think it's just done a little bit more today. It's still, 119 was a few under par, to be honest. Another one wide and full, and another one that will be put away. This one behind points. Terrific over for the Sapphires, and Babette the lead in particular. 4 gone, 23 for 1.
Yeah, another full, very full on the offside there, and easy pickings really for Babette Delete, and enjoying herself, and just a release of pressure in this power play. A little bit stodgy earlier on.
It's a skipper, Sanamir, definitely under-bowled herself today. Which just shows how shrewd she is. previous over. Back foot, front foot, middle of the road foot.
Yeah, just not quite bowling to her field there. She had 2 out on the leg side and just giving the batters a little bit of width, and they're able to cash in. And looks like we've got Sune loose coming on for a little bowl now.
Spin inside the power play, which is not unusual in T20 cricket. South African captain had a pretty good World Cup, pretty good 50 over World Cup.
Yeah, not often you see Sune bowl in the power play, actually. I imagine she'll bowl quite a lot out the front of the hand, won't toss it up too much, try and keep the stumps in the game and try not to give the batter too much air to work with.
Barney Taylor just playing around with her bowlers a bit here. She needs to be inventive. Doesn't want the batsman to settle. Good to see some leg spin. Don't think there'll be much rough out there, though.
No, I don't think so. No, I think captaincy is a really... As the ball goes up in the air. Oh.
That's something you don't see very often. And I just wonder, was Sophie indicating, and it might have got up those lights that Heather was talking about. It's see, quite lofted. It's a tough one back over your left shoulder. But it's something she would normally take.
You wonder when the dew starts to come in as well. Maybe that's a little bit later, makes the ball a bit more slippery.
Yeah, I think she actually thought it was further away from her than it actually was. She looked like she tracked it quite nicely, but didn't quite get under it and get a base to get in a good position to catch it. But as I was saying earlier, I think one of the really interesting things about this competition is going to be the captaincy. I think it's a really unique challenge. You've got so many different characters. We've got a few players in our team that don't actually speak English, so it's certainly going to test my communication skills for sure. And I think it's a really unique challenge, bringing together people of different standards and different points of their career.
So the obvious question is, and we've got one ball left in the over, so we might have to get here, but we might come back to it, just ask how you do go about communicating with players that don't speak English. So last ball of the fifth, which gets swept, and he gets swept for 4. The bet to lead is putting away every loose delivery, so it's 30 for 1 off 5. Welcome back. Sapphires have just got a little kick down the hill in the last couple of overs, maybe thanks to a bet to lead. Is down to 24 or 14. Stefani Taylor, who bowls these deceptive little off-breaky things that people don't seem to be able to hit, has come on. But while she's bowling, Heather, I might just go back to that question about how do you communicate with the players who don't speak English or not very good English?
We're quite lucky. We've got 2 Brazilian players in our team, Roberta and Laura, and luckily Roberta speaks very fluent English and is able to translate a little bit. We've got Henrietta from Rwanda who understands English but doesn't speak as much, so I think lots of hand gestures. I think that'll certainly be the way to do it, and cricket's a universal language as well, isn't it? But I do think body language and how you are around those players is going to be really important, and yeah, it's certainly going to be a bit of a test, but also a really nice challenge and a really fun one to have to deal with as well.
I think she made it, but we'll go upstairs and check that one. Fielding side don't look overly confident. Might be.
Looks out to me.
Yes, I don't think we'll need too many looks at this one.
No dive there from the batter, and as expected, the finger is raised. And I think in those situations, when you make the dive, you do get that slight bit of extra ground and make it to the crease. But no dive there from Dalude, and she departs for 24. Very brisk 24.
Yes, Dalee was galloping along as well. And,
Kim Garth in for Babette Dalee, and that was a big blow. Dalee was just starting to get on top of the bowling. She put away all the loose deliveries. You're going to blame someone for this?
I'm going to give credit to the fielder. I think that was brilliant from Dinah Baig, I think it was. She's very sharp in the point region, moves very quickly to the ball there, and I think the batter underestimated Diana there, and it was a really quick release as well. Managed to get the ball into the keeper's gloves, well directed. Katie Martin as well in front of the stumps, making the most efficient use of the time, and those are really key in those really tight run-outs.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the intent taking the single, but as you say, just maybe just not stretching out. Dive might have got her there. She's out by a couple of centimetres, but it is a big blow. And wicket also enables Stefanie Taylor to bowl to a new batter and keep it tight and change the dynamics of the game. End of the 6th over. Power play is finished. The Sapphires are 36 for 2.
And we've got a commentary change here with Mel Farrell. Well, this innings shaping up to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting chase with this lower score.
How often do we see that in T20 cricket? The lower chases, so tricky. Still have Heather Knight with us to have her in here. And do you approach those chases differently? Is that in your mind when you've got a lower score?
I think you try to make it not in your mind. I think it's still really important to maximise those first 6 power play overs and still have really positive intent. Sometimes if you think you've got more time because it's a lower total, sometimes you can get yourself into trouble. So as much as you can, you want to get yourself ahead of the game, want to get those boundaries in early, so it's not too tense towards the back end, and I've got a feeling we might be in for a tense one.
Over pitch, full toss, and missed out. Opportunity gone.
Really good captaincy from Stefanie here, actually. She's able to have 4 fielders outside of the inner ring, but she's only got 3, sensing that the batters are under a little bit of pressure, trying to get a few more dots in and trying to build that pressure even more.
Hearing you talk about the challenges for the captains and for the coaches as well. I think it's been quite an interesting one for the coaches, bringing these players together that they haven't seen much of.
Yes, a really unique challenge. There's been no tournament like this where you bring together full member nations and associate nations, and it's such an eclectic mix of people, such a different variety of cultures, different languages. So yeah, it's a really interesting one. I think Lydia, my coach for the Barmy Army, has done a brilliant job of bringing everyone together and trying to find that level where you're communicating with everyone and trying to obviously communicate what you want to do as a cricket team and what you want to achieve as a team.
Hit down to long off for 1. And that is over. Score 40 for 2. Welcome back. We've got the score 40 for 2. We've got Heather Knight up in the commentary with us. What is shaping up to be a great game. And just a reminder that after 10 overs there is a bonus point. Sapphires need to be more than 7-2.
How much does that play into you? How aware are you going to be of that bonus point as you're playing, keeping the calculator going?
It's a really interesting one. It's something none of the players will ever have played before. It's only been a rule in the men's Big Bash, not in the women's, so it's quite a unique one. We chatted about it in our team meeting earlier, and probably we kind of want to have half an eye on it, but not for it to be overbearing. Obviously the primary focus is going to be to win the game, to try and take that 3 points. But if you can get that bonus point in 3 games, it's basically like a win. So I think we're going to try and see where we are, maybe around 7-8 overs, and see if it's feasible, and just communicate really clearly on whether we're going to go for it or whether we're just going to bat normally and obviously try and win the game as a whole.
Lewis here is shaping up, getting into lovely positions, but it's just not converting into runs at the moment, and you just feel there's a bit of pressure building. Something might be about to happen.
They get that single there, were shy at the stumps, but they're through. Yeah, I was sort of looking at that before. She plays a lot of technically lovely shots. They look really good, but at the moment they've just all been going to fielders. With a smaller ground, as you say, Stefanie Taylor setting that field very well, just making it really hard to penetrate the ring.
Yeah, again, Stefanie's only got 3 outside of the inner circle, so really attacking, really trying to find those dots. And I think you find sometimes with associate players, so Garth and Lewis both from Ireland, that sometimes they don't play as many competitive games against bowlers that don't give you much to hit.
That's a huge 6.
What a shot. Releases the pressure massively, that slog sweep, going a good couple of metres over the leg side boundary.
And that is 8 overs gone, the score 50 for 2. That's the second 6 of the day. Seen too many maximums. The wicket just looks a little bit tougher than last night's wicket, and possibly see that change a little bit now that the lights are coming on. Things are cooling down a little bit. Heather, while we've got you here, we're going to keep asking questions. We spoke about the 10 over mark, and out here they need 72 to get that bonus point. But what's it like? You speak about dealing with your own team, but what about trying to scope the opposition and understand some of these bowlers that you've never seen before? How do you deal with that? You don't know whether they're bowling in swing, out swing. How do you do a bit of research and understand?
Well, to be honest, for the first game we tried to keep things as simple as possible, not to overthink the opposition too much, try and concentrate on the skill group that we have in our team. The girls are here because they're good batters, good bowlers, and we don't want to think too much about the opposition. I think as more games are played, you get a sense of what the opposition do, what their key bowlers are, and sometimes it's quite a good thing just to not know what's coming, just to react to the ball that's in front of you and to play that way. It's something in international cricket we don't do very often, but sometimes you forget you have to watch the ball and hit the ball, and I think actually it's going to make it quite simple for some players to just react to what's in front of them.
Lovely sweep shot and another piece of phenomenal ground fielding out on the boundary. Diana Baig, outstanding. Some of the ground fielding today around the boundary has been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, we certainly saw some in the first innings. Talk about Gabby Lewis. Kim Garth as well. Yeah, we've seen some terrific saves out in the deep.
Yeah, I think the Irish girls are a great addition. I really rate these two as players, and the point I was trying to make earlier was about as they play more cricket against better bowlers, they get that real game sense. They'll be able to knock the ball around into the gaps and try and score off those good balls. And obviously Ireland now going into the ICC Championship, which means they're going to have a hell of a lot more cricket, which is a huge opportunity for them. I know Kim Garth obviously has made the move to Australia to play domestic cricket out there, and I've seen her improve massively as she's got that opportunity to play against better players and hone her skills over there.
Yeah, I was mentioning earlier how she and Maya Bouchier, of course, from England, were terrific in the middle order for the Stars. Rescued quite a few of their innings in the WBBL last year.
A quick single, throw at the non-strikers, and that'll be the end of the over. 9 overs gone, score 55 for 2. We're back here into the 10th over, the big over. Let's see what happens. The Sapphires needing to get to 72 to collect a bonus point. They've got a bit of work to do here, but let's see what happens, see how they're going to go about this. Tactically, are they going to target it?
I think for me, if I was in their situation, I think it's something that's probably gone. They obviously need quite a big over, and they actually could jeopardise the whole game if they were to lose 2-3 quick wickets. So I think if this was my team in this situation, I'd be encouraging them to play normally, to keep building the partnership, not worry too much about that bonus point, build the partnership, and then obviously try and win the game.
Winner for Durasingham into the bowling attack now for the Tornadoes. Malaysia. She was captain of the Malaysian team at just 17 years of age. So yet another young player.
Yeah, Malaysia probably quite unknown as a cricketing nation to me, many. I've spent a lot of time there touring, and they've got absolutely phenomenal facilities, and the growth of cricket in that country has been amazing. Heather, you might have even played some games at the Kunrara Oval.
I have, yes. We played Pakistan there a couple of years ago, 2019. It is one of the most sweatiest places I have ever played. Absolutely horrific. It was not that much fun, to be honest, but like you say, a really lovely ground and improving facilities and players.
That's a wicket. Look at that. And the celebration. Fantastic piece of cricket. And what a wicket for the young Malaysian.
And that is the end of Kim Garth as well. She was looking like she was breaking the shackles earlier with a massive 6. She just came forward, just pressed forward really. Was well out of a crease, and Katie Martin, well, she's done that a gazillion times in her career. Incredibly experienced, and fantastic celebrations as Kim Garth departs for 11. Sapphires 56 for 3.
And that wicket is going to see new batter come to the crease. Kerry Chan, the Hong Kong captain. Left-hander, loves to strike the ball nice and hard. So I'm really excited as someone from Hong Kong to see her in action. She had a great first innings with the ball. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, she was terrific with the ball. Bowled some really canny overs, but it's Dura Singham with the ball in hand now. Just taken the wicket of Gabby Lewis. Just another look at the wicket now. It's quite slingy, just the ball moving away a little bit, just enough to box Kim Garth out of a crease. Sharp hands as ever from Katie Martin.
Fine piece of work down the leg side from Katie Martin. The impact of the keepers on this game, especially in a team with lots of new players, understanding angles and that communication. Heather, I imagine you're leaning on your keeper a lot.
Yeah, definitely, and I think obviously the wide rule as well affects keepers slightly, so that we're playing with the MCC wide rule and it's open a little bit to interpretation, so keepers are going to have to be really hot on those ones just down the leg side that might not be called a wide, because obviously it's going to go against their name, isn't it, if they do miss it, and it does go for byes.
That one was called a wide, and also as you imagine, we've seen them keeping up to the stumps a little bit as well, to the medium paces. We even saw Daleed keeping up to Tash Farrant in the first innings. Tactic you might be tempted to use, Heather?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's one you see very often in women's cricket in the international game. Keepers standing up. Amy Jones, obviously for us, does it a lot, and as a batter it really affects you. You obviously have to stay in your crease. You can't move around as much. You feel like you're actually under a bit more pressure as well because people are tight around you, and it means you feel a little bit more like you're going to get a few dot balls. But yeah, the keeper's going to be really important in this tournament. Tremaine Campbell for us, I've given her a job to make sure everyone's in the right position and everyone is getting those angles right, obviously. Oh, what a catch!
What a catch! First slip, phenomenal captaincy, and Kerry is on her way.
Dura Singham on fire, what an impact she has made. That's the end of Kerry Chan's very brief innings. Just got the little edge. Trying to dab it away on the offside, and that was a terrific take in the end, falling away. Got both hands to it. And Chan departs for none. And the Sapphires finding this chase quite difficult. They are 59 for 4 in the 10th over.
After that wicket, we see Sana Mir come to the crease. There's been a lot of discussion about her coming out of retirement, coming back into the game, and I know the atmosphere around all the players in the tournament are excited to have her on board and see her out in the middle again. She's got some work to do.
She had a little bit of difficulty when she was bowling. She bowled that one over. I think it might have gone for 9, but few full tosses in there. So you just settled down with the bat. They need something from her now.
As that's dug out, and Heather, we're going to bid you farewell and wish you luck for your game representing the Barmy Army side against the Spirit, so all the best in the fixture.
Thank you very much.
And the score 59 for 4 after 10 overs. And just a reminder, the bonus point going through to the Tornadoes.
Well, the game certainly changed here, and it may change again. No, that's safe. In fact, that's a very good hit. The Sapphires have lost a couple of wickets. They're under the pump, and the response, of course, from Gabby Lewis. I'll just hit a 4 down the ground in the air.
Yeah, that's had to relieve the pressure there, really, isn't it? The Sapphires, yeah, wickets falling, but she just hit it straight back over her head there. It's gone for 4. Gabby Lewis has looked indomitable in this game.
Let's just have a look at the fall of these Sapphires wickets. A little cross seamer. Very cleverly bowled. Like Carrie Chen wasn't expecting that. First of all, great captaincy to have the slip, and then a great piece of catching.
Yeah, I agree. We haven't really seen too much slip action there, so Sooner Lewis wasn't going to drop that. She's a consummate professional.
The spinners are just starting to play a bigger role in this game. The sweep with a Moore trademark.
Yeah, perhaps. I think it's so nice to see that Nepalese flag on the back of Maga's shirt there. It's a really nice addition to this tournament, all the players wearing their national flags rather than numbers.
She's done a very good job, Sitarana. Buried a pace, just a little bit of turn. But you've got to be nervous, haven't you? You're associate player, you're representing Malaysia and your team here. No single there, and she's bowled another splendid over. 4 early on it, but we only went for 6. 65 for 4.
So we just have a look at the bowling figures there. So Taylor with 2, but look at that. 3 wickets. 3 out. Oh, I can't even speak today. I'm just getting too overexcited. Yeah, 2 for 4 down there. And yeah, I think they've managed to put the stops on the side.
Winifred back on. Well, why wouldn't you? You've got 2 for 4 off 1. Bowling to the player who was ranked the #1 all-rounder in the world for several years. Lose track of the... She's got a... I think there's her Scottish hair on. She's got blue and white there, the manager.
Yes, well, actually, I spoke to Stu this morning and she was saying it's her special Sapphires hair, so she's dyeing a bit for each game now, so it's going to get further and further up her head. I've tried to convince her to dress like an avatar if they reach the final. Not quite sure that's gone through. There was a suggestion of a Smurf as well, but yeah, it's a nice little... Thanks for that one, Sue, just giving us the full coverage of it.
Sana Mir not playing the patience game at the moment. Once again, I think it's the extra bounce. This International Stadium pitch, it's done a few players. It's good bounce. It's mostly regular, but some extra bounce on some pitches around the world. I'd like to say in Pakistan, but this is actually Pakistan clay underneath this surface. The fancy footwork, and then the cover drive. Just a glimpse of the Mir at a peak.
Yeah, and you say that about the clay. Actually, I was talking to the groundsman yesterday, and there's clay from all over the world, like the players. So we've even got clay from the oval. We've got clay from the Wacker. So it's nice little bit of synergy in there.
Taken, Katie Martin. I mean, Gabby Lewis is having a look at the umpire, but we're using the new interpretation. And that was very hittable. It only just missed the leg stump, but it's only just missed the pad. She had a chance to hit it, and the batsman, the batter, not rewarded for making a mistake. And I totally agree with this interpretation. That'll be a wide, though. That's a little too far outside the guidelines. Another challenging delivery. Gabby Lewis cannot do anything with that. The screw is being turned on the Sapphires. They're 67 for 4. The equation starting to favour the Tornadoes. Sanamir changes his stance, gets the ball to put away. Can only clock it down the backward square leg. Her countrywoman Diana Baig struggling to find a timing at the moment, which is understandable. Well bowled. Sitarana. Clever spin being sent down at the moment. Nicely flighted. Lewis takes it on and gets it. 4.
Yeah, Sophie Devine just couldn't quite get back to that one. It found the space and it's relieved a little bit of a pressure there for the Sapphires, who are slowing somewhat. If we just look at this, it was Gabby Lewis was more than equal to this. And Sophie Devine, no matter how good you are in the field, sometimes you just can't get to them, and she couldn't quite save that boundary there. You see Elise Villani watching on nervously.
That is very, very close. Beautifully bowled, Sitarana Maga. I'm not sure why Gabby Lewis feels she's got to reverse sweep that. Just hit it down the ground, but batters make mistakes, and that's a terminal one.
Yeah, she's just gone for the reverse there, got herself all in a twist, and Sitarana is the happiest woman out there right now. Look at that celebration. She is buzzing. There's hugs all round from the Tornadoes. What a recovery from that for the ball before to come back and take a wicket. So the Sapphires 72 for 5, need 48 from 44. This is going to get tight as we go into the latter part of this.
Dash Farrett, the new batter. Take too much notice of the matches and runs. She bats down the order for England in T20Is. Doesn't get too many hits. But now she's got the opportunity to bring this home for the Sapphires.
Oh, nice, man.
Beautifully bowled.
Come on, Sita.
We'll just see the wicket again there. Just going for that reverse, getting all in a muddle, and Sita Rana she went for the appeal. It was a bit delayed, and there you go. That's her final ball.
This one's in the air. Cut off on the boundary. Settle for a single. Might have been two there. More urgency required as the 13th over finishes, and the Sapphires are 73 for 5. Not sure what Gabby Lewis is doing playing that shot, but it's beautifully bowled. It's Hitarana Maga. Absolutely jubilant. The equation just sliding away from the Sapphires marginally at the moment. They need more than a run a ball. 5 wickets down. Of the veteran, I use that in the most revered terms, Sana Mir, and England's current left arm swing bowler, Tash Farrant. Well, Tash has got a chance to be an all-rounder. Winifred de Racingham's on. And she's hard to hit, as those figures might indicate.
Yeah, it's been a winning day for Winnie today, hasn't it? She's bowled such... She's been so on target today, you know, that her figures just show it. 2 for 6 from just over 2 overs. And she's been so on point with those deliveries today. And
yeah, it's an interesting delivery. She's slightly open around arm, but she always gets the hand right behind the ball. And she obviously bowled like that for a long time. She's very used to those sort of mechanics, and she lands it very successfully and hits the seam quite often. This time she uses the crease and gets in close, but just as I've given her a rap for having a lot of control, she bowls a full bunger and it gets put away by Tash Farrant.
yeah, she just missed her length there, didn't she? And Tash Farrant was going to eat that up all day long. Finds the boundary. Winnie's not amused by that.
And they haven't got a sweeper out on the offside either. Often that would be a single, but they've got 4 inside the circle on the off. And this is lobbed up in the air, and just falls agonising short. Then the run-out chance. I think there's a pressure all round out there at the moment.
Yeah, you can feel it. It's a very different game to yesterday's hitting fest. You know, it's very tight. Every run is crucial at this point. They need 42 off 38. So yeah, it's getting very tight there. And I think both the batters and the fielding side are feeling it.
And it's been terrific captaincy as well, because they brought that extra feeler inside the circle. They haven't got the sweeper out on the offside. They're not giving Sana any easy singles inside the fielding circle. Stefani Taylor's got the mind working overtime, making some good calls at the moment. That's another dot to finish the over. 14 gone, 78 for 5.
You love to see that celebration, don't you, there from Sita? She's a very happy bowler, and rightly so. She's been on form today, hasn't she, Jeff?
That's tremendous smiles. Georgie, do you know what that means? I've got no idea.
I was about to ask you exactly the same thing. I'm going to have to catch her later and find out.
You should do just that. More spin. Well, fortunately we have a director who watches a lot of Indian movies. Somehow he knows about it. I've got to be precise here or else I will get sacked.
Good, Sita.
It's the pushpa. The pushpa.
How did you not know that, Jeff?
I know. Well,
You're obviously involved in that.
I actually have watched a few Indian movies. When I'm there, I've actually gone to the theatre and watched some local language movies, but I'm just not familiar with that one. And it decides to deflect rather than hit, and that might be her preferred method. Try and score behind the wicket. The trouble is, she hasn't got much pace to work with. Little bit of turn, you won't want to miss that one, Tash. That is got to be out. Maybe there was some bat in it. I'll look at it. It pitches. Maybe the ump thinks it's turned and is missing leg. I don't agree.
No, the umpire's finding it funny though.
$15 gone now. The pressure mounts on the Sapphires are 80 for 5.
.40 from 30 needed. The Sapphires have let themselves plenty to do in the final stretch here. Chitarana Magar, Nepalese spinner, did a fine job across her 4 overs, getting in the book, keeping it tight. Surya Singham, the Malaysian, her last over starts here. Ooh. Just lapped off the stumps by Sana Mir, resourceful. A degree of managed risks there. The slingy approach to the crease from the Malaysian veteran. Made captain of the national team at just 17 years of age and getting this opportunity now at age 29. 2 wickets in 3 balls to start her spell. What they would give for another one here, one of these 2 established players. Chips it up to mid-off. One-handed effort, doesn't quite drag it in. Shanita had work to do there at mid-off and ever so close to a catch that could have just ended the Sapphires' chances here, Isabel Duncan.
Just clever bowling from Thingham here. Just bearing her pace, quite getting the timing right. Just got the fingertips. A good effort there at full stretch. Saves 4 anyway. Almost a run out. It's all happening out there.
The third Winifred, sorry, I should say the second Winifred to play international cricket. I had a look at this during the week. Slightly self-interested, given I've got a daughter called Winifred,
I thought we'd mention that.
who I suspect might become the third in about 20 years' time. Well, I hope anyway, not putting any pressure on her. But yes, there was Winifred Leach, who played 2 test matches for England against Australia back in 1951, taking 5 wickets at 19.
Good knowledge.
Nice cameo there. Across the line, does it well, Sana Mir. The skipper mowing a boundary. 32 from 26 from here. If Sana Mir can bat all the way through, they'll be in the hot seat. They'll be well placed to come overs 19 and 20. You feel that a lot of it comes down to this partnership.
Yeah, she's starting to see it a little bit better now, isn't she, Sana Mir? She's been out of cricket for a while, but she's played herself in and finding the middle of the bat there. Retired from international cricket in 2020. He's been doing a lot of commentating since then. He's getting a feel for it now, having scratched around a fair bit.
Three out on the leg side. Just one inside the circle, Chinita. She made a massive contribution, Sana Mir. To think when she came into the team, started her 15-year career, what Pakistan women's cricket looked like. I mean, they only had sent their first national team abroad in 1997 to where she leaves it to where they are now. Past the edge to finish. Durya Singham's spell complete. 2 for 20 from 4. Outstanding work. The Sapphires still need 31 from 24. They're 89 for 5. 4 overs to go. Yeah, Sana Mir made it to the number 1, or to the top of the rankings, I should say, as a bowler. One-day cricket. The only Pakistani to achieve that. A couple of gold medals in the Asian Games as well.
Yeah, first bowler to take 100 wickets for Pakistan.
Both batters 10 from 14. They've just steadied things down a bit here. At one point, the Sapphires were 72 for 5 and they've got to within striking distance in a lower scoring game than we saw last night when it was 178 to 177.
Well, the playing conditions
Diana Baig
have changed a fair bit, haven't they? With the lights out and maybe a little bit dew around, and you wonder when you're batting in the twilight hours like this if it is harder for batters.
So Diana Baig bowling at her old captain here, Sana Mir. One Pakistani against another, former captain. Steers the first one away. They played a lot of cricket together.
And looking very steady, Paige. She's got a lovely rhythmical run-up, looks very comfortable. A good length ball there, played late by Sana Mir. And they're going to know each other's cricket pretty well.
Frustrating World Cup, just 3 wickets across 7 matches. Of course, they lost to Bangladesh throughout that campaign as well, didn't they, Pakistan? First time that Bangladesh have won a match at the Women's 50-over World Cup. And then Pakistan beat the West Indies in a rain-reduced game. It was reduced to 20 overs apiece. I was in Pakistan at the time covering the Australian men's test matches there, and I can tell you, the press box, no one was watching the men's cricket. Everyone was watching Pakistan-West Indies. It was a nice moment. It's Pakistan's first World Cup win, going all the way back to 2009, so it meant an awful lot, even if it was an underwhelming tournament taken as a whole.
Yes, well, Diana Baig, of course, is from that very mountainous area of Pakistan, isn't she, where they've got mountains over 7,000 metres in height, the Gilgit-Baltistan area. You do wonder if she can find a flat area to play cricket on. She's the only international cricketer from that area, so she's a real superstar.
Yeah, I spoke to her the other night and said that I'd been in her country, and she insisted that next time I go back, I must visit the mountains and get out of the major cities.
Sickness.
That's fine with me. All worth it for the experience. Beautiful country. It's holding up in the track there. Used pitch from last night. Had a bit more pace in it yesterday.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that spin is coming into play a lot more in this match. We've seen an awful lot of spin, particularly from Magar. That left arm slow has been effective.
So 2 out on the offside. Deep point, deep third. And a deep fine and a deep square. So hit off a mid-on inside the circle. Will she go straight, Farron? She does. She tries, but it's skied up in the air. Important moment, and take it. Sune Loose, the South African skipper. A crucial catch there. had plenty of hang time. Barrett saw mid-off inside the circle. Tried to take it over the top of her head, but unsuccessfully. Diana Bay gets a wicket at an important time.
It's in the air a long time. It's an easy catch with that international Sunny Luz. He picked out the fielder there, unfortunately, for the batsman. Great celebrations from Diana Bage. And the score now, 92 for 6. And that's Natasha Farrant, who's out for 11.
Well, Shabnim Ismail did it with the ball earlier today, taking 3 wickets. Needs to do it with the bat here.
Yes, 3 for 20 for Ismail, putting the EBGBs up the batters.
Well, across the stumps. Okay, Sanamir looking to get resourceful and whip it through the onside. The end of a successful over. 92 for 6 to score. Watching the wicket back. Barrett saw an opportunity over mid-off, but miscued, and Sune Luce going back with the flight just a tad. Safe pair of hands, experienced cricketer. And as you pointed out, Izzy, an excellent celebration from Diana Baig. It was the Cristiano Ronaldo or something like that.
It's been like that.
28 from 18 required. Sune Luce. Going to be brought back into the attack. 1 for 9 from 3. She has that leg spinner trait, bowling an unplayable, then a full toss, then an unplayable, then a half tracker. She's always an interesting bowler to watch. But been effective this evening.
Sunny Lou is going to give it some rip. The leg breaker all-rounder. Spinner's playing a big part in this match.
We're out on the leg side. There's that full toss to start. Doesn't take advantage of it though. Deep cover, the only fielder on the offside of Ismail on strike.
Tossing it up to the new batsman.
Better. Sune Luce charging out into the offside to make sure it was only one. Good commitment to the cause.
I think the Tornadoes here keen to bowl at Ismail, if they possibly can. The new batsman out there. Try and get a wicket.
So setting up with a deep point for Sanamir. And a long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square. So mid-off up. Reversing. Can't beat point. We've seen Sanamir jump across the crease. Now the reverse sweep. Trying to use what pace there is, trying to play behind square. There's a short third and a short fine leg on the circle. Reverse again. This time missing everything. So Sune Luce, 3 dot balls in 4 deliveries, up to 27 from 14.
She's trying to be innovative here and inventive. She needs to be Sanamir, and you can see the pressure mounting. That equation now, 27, needed from 14.
Quick single, has to hit here. Surely out, given on the field. Don't even bother going upstairs. Tip and run stuff. The Sapphires are capitulating. Ismail run out for 1. Sune Luce keeping her cool. Just one run and the run out in 5 deliveries in this over. Sana Mir calling Ismail through, but never stood a chance. They have defended this magnificently so well so far.
Absolutely, and out by a country mile there. Just the building of pressure causes mistakes. They take more risks, batsmen, because they have to. 93 for 7 now, Sapphires.
That is a fantastic over from Sune Loose. Just one run and the wicket. 93 for 7 to score. 2 overs to go. 27 runs to get. Miriam Omar, the new batter to the crease from Q8. Captain of the national side for 6 years, so has plenty of experience. Now playing Premier Cricket in Australia, where she moved to Melbourne. She's made of tough stuff as well. Works as a civil engineer, wears a hard hat by day, making skyscrapers, and by night she's a cricketer.
Absolutely, and Omar, she also wears her hijab under her hard hat. Fits nicely.
Over the top, carries beyond mid-on. Good piece of fielding, keeps it to a couple. Alia Riaz there, plenty of work to do. They're watching that wicket back. Inside edge onto the boot, committed to the single, and it was never there.
Pressure builds mistakes, and there we have it. Good piece of captaining there from Stefanie Taylor as well. Putting the bowlers on at the right time. Too many dot balls. And the Sapphires in trouble here, it's tight.
Pace off from Baig. Was excellent in her previous over. A successful one. Pressure ramps up again. 25 from 10.
Great death bowling from Baig as well, using all her subtleties. She's got lots of tricks up her sleeve. Change of pace there.
So Sana Mir has made a decision here. She's swinging at everything. He's gone from trying to use the pace and play behind square to trying to find that gap at Cat corner. There is one there. Long on, deep square. Mid-wicket is inside the circle.
Heaving in desperation at the moment and only finding fresh air.
That's better contact. That's what they needed. To go all the way. Nah, one bounce over the rope. Sana Mir tried to play that shot a couple of times in the over, now making contact. They're running out of time.
Much more positive foot movement here, just to shuffle up the wicket. And a beautiful shot from her. She makes contact finally. Just trying to release some of that pressure. They're in a tight spot here, the Sapphires.
It's gone. Diana Baig goes a fraction shorter, hits the seam a little bit quicker as well. Sana Mir trying to find the same gap and safely pouched by the veteran Katie Martin behind the wickets. 99 for 8. They've still got plenty of runs to get. 21 runs to get from the final 7 balls, and that may well be the decisive moment of this match, Isabel Duncan.
Yeah, and another great celebration there from Diana Baig as well, into the tornado twirl of the fingers. But Sanamir in trouble and just trying to hit the leather off everything there. And finally she falls for 18. And the score 99 for 8 now, the Sapphires.
Bodali, new batter in. Struck on the pad first ball. She was so impressive earlier with ball in hand, the teenage American, but yes, that task. 21 runs from the final over needed. The Sapphires 99 for 8. Watching back the 8th wicket, you can see there the cross seam and got a bit of extra elevation. Sanamir is trying to mow that over mid-wicket as she did with the previous shot, with mid-wicket and mid-on inside the circle. Great response. This means plenty to them. "21 runs needed from the final over of the second game of this Fairbreak Invitational tournament. Tornadoes have been outstanding defending, just 119 for 7. And Sune loose with the ball in her hand. That will be not out. Paddy Martin. No, that was straight into the turf. Worth asking the question.
2 new batsmen out there as well. It's a big ask. 21 off 6.
Gosh, in a tangle there. 21 from 4. So all but game over. Excellent from loose.
Just desperation at the moment from Omar. She's trying to move her feet, trying to make contact with the ball.
Just 2 balls to go. 19 runs to get. Make that 20 runs to get, I should say, but doesn't matter. The Tornadoes have done the job here. Ooh, there's the wrong one. So the Tornadoes will collect all 4 points. They won the bonus point for being ahead after 10 overs, and they're 1 delivery away from securing the other 3. I think they were defending just 119. That's game over. The Tornadoes outstanding, restricting the Sapphires to 102 for 8. They win this game by 17 runs and they take all 4 points. It was early wickets that got them going. Villani balling in the second over of the chase, and they never really recovered. There were a couple of brief moments they looked like they might be on top of the task, but 2 wickets in 1 over from Durasinum really put the brakes on. And from there, they needed everything to go right, and nothing did.
Yeah, and we have to commend the captain as well, don't we, Stefanie Taylor? Excellent field placing, always put the pressure on at the right moments, bringing the fielders in, particularly when Sanamir was batting. And they felt the pressure, and wickets dropped, and runs dried up. And certainly spin bowling, I think, played a huge part in this innings, bowled by the Tornadoes. We like the look of Durasingham, 2 for 20.
Fairbreak Invitational with the Tornadoes and the Falcons winning so far. The second game of our doubleheader today is between the Barmy Army and the Spirit. But first things first, we have the presentation coming up for this game after a short break.
A big congratulations to Team Tornadoes for securing their first win in this SDG Fairbreak Invitational Tournament by winning by 17 runs. As you can see that scorecard, of course, Claire Callis put in a much needed score of 32 for 29, and of course a great performance from the bowlers as well. Shibi, of course, getting those 3 wickets early on and for 20, and of course Kadal also getting 2 for 20. And moving over to the Sapphires, we had a good combination of Deliada as well, getting 24 of 14, and Lewis contribution as well, 22 for 34. And also as far as the bowling is concerned, you see the experience of Diana Bay getting 2 wickets, as well as winning that one for adding her contribution as far as the Sapphires are concerned, getting those 2 wickets. Let's go over to the post-match presentations as we are ready to hear from the captains. Over to you, Mel.
Hello and welcome to the post-match presentation for match number 2 of the Fairbreak Invitational 2022 between Tornadoes and Sapphires, live from the beautiful city of Dubai. I'd like to start with thanking our gracious sponsors, SDG Impact Fund and Gencor. Well, it was a very different match to the first match we saw in this tournament, which was a real run fest here last night. Tonight, it was much more about the bowlers. They had a fair bit more to do. Some terrific bowling performances. Shabnim Ismail and Jitika Kodali both took, one took, Shabnim, sorry, 3 for 20. Jitika took 2 for 20. And they restricted the Tornadoes to 119 for 7. But they ended up defending that in the end incredibly well, thanks partly at least to the wonderful bowling of Winnie Durasingham, who took 2 for 20. But it is time for the Player of the Match award. Now, the Player of the Match will receive a smartwatch presented by Associate Professor Deirdre McGee, Director of Breast Research Australia from the University of Wollongong in Australia. And the award goes to Stair Callis from Team Tornadoes for her performance of 32 off 29 balls.
Thank you. Thank you.
Come on over, Stair, well done. We've had a few chats along here. I know you've been really excited about this. The bowlers did very well today, but you managed to get enough runs on the board to at least be able to defend a lower score.
Yeah, definitely. I thought we had quite a good start. And the good partnership in the end from Alia and Katie, I think, took us to that 120. And in the end, the bowlers done a really good job to,
defend it. Did you think you had a good chance of defending it?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. Like, you always have to go out and be confident about your total. Obviously not as high as we would have hoped for, but we done well to defend that, I think.
And how are you enjoying this opportunity out here in Dubai?
Oh, I love it. It's so good. And hopefully many more opportunities like this to come, because it's so good. You saw Winnie, like associate member as well today. Credits to her as well. She done really well too.
Well, it was a terrific innings from you. Lovely to watch you play. So congratulations on being Player of the Match tonight.
Thank you so much.
Well done to Stair. Well, I'd like to invite now from the Sapphires, Captain Sana Mir, to come up for a quick chat. Well, Sana, it's been a while since you played. Was it a bit rusty being out there?
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah, overall the team played really well. I think the bowling was really good, the fielding was really good, so a lot of positives, but the shot selection could have been better.
Did you think you had a good chance when they only scored that 119?
Yeah, I think on this pitch, anything under 130, under 130, 135 was achievable. We just didn't bat well. The shot selection could have been better, and hopefully we can do that in the next game.
Did you learn a lot about this team?
Yeah, of course. It's a wonderful opportunity in Fairbreak. You get to play with such diverse group of players, so it has been an incredible experience so far.
Well, commiserations tonight. Good luck in the games coming up.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sana. Okay, now I'm going to request the winning captain from the Tornadoes, Stefanie Taylor, to come up. Congratulations, Stefanie.
Thanks.
How difficult did you think that was going to be to defend?
Well, we spoke about the par score was like, 140 against a team like that. And then, the coaches and Sophie, we were like, probably 120. Would put us in a good stead, and we quite pleased with how the bowlers went about it.
Now, it was a day last night we saw it was a real run fest. Today it was much more about the bowlers. Was that more about the conditions, or do you think it was partly tactics and execution?
I think the conditions played a bit. I thought the tactics were really good from both sides. The way they bowled to Sophie and the way the ball to us was, fantastic. Keeping the drive up. Wicket was a bit slow, so it was really hard to get over the top. So more likely put squares in place, and we spoke about that, and I thought the bowlers bowled exactly to their field.
And it was terrific, obviously, innings from Stair, but you had some great bowling spells there from your bowlers as well. Tell us about those.
I thought Sune, at the death there was really good, and Diana was awesome as well. I just thought all the bowlers were fantastic. Even young Winnie, she was, got 2 wickets in her first over. So yeah, I thought she bowled fantastic, and even Sita, you know, she need to teach me that dance move. Yeah, but yeah, I thought she was fantastic.
Oh, I've seen you with some dance moves before, and I know you're pretty good at picking those up. So we might see a few more of those throughout the competitions. Congratulations tonight, and we look forward to watching you in the rest of the tournament.
Thanks much.
Thank you. So successful captain there, Stefanie Taylor, from the Tornadoes, successfully defending their earlier total of 7 for 119. And that's all from the presentation.
Thank you very much, Mel, for that presentation. Now I'm joined in studio by Georgie Heath. I know she's been doing a lot of commentary, but she's joining me just to chat about how the game transpired. Let's talk about the play of the match. Stair Callis, how brilliant was she?
Oh, she was fab today, Stair. You know, it wasn't a big run fest today, as we've discussed, and she just she was that foundation that Tornadoes side needed. You know, you need those extra, that 10, that 20 extra runs, and you could see that it just gave them that little bit of confidence going into being able to defend this. You know, they said they expected a pass score around 140, and they didn't get that. But then, yeah, so Stair was great with the bat, but their bowlers really came out and did it. And today was a bowler's day. It was complete contrast to yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Complete contrast from yesterday's game. And when you analyze the entire game, what are your thoughts on what transpired?
Yeah, like I say, it was all about the bowlers. There was some good field placement going on today. We saw some fantastic fielding as well, lots of diving around. There was a lovely slip catch there from Sune Loose today. Didn't see many slips in there yesterday, so that was a nice one. And then, I don't know, it's these associate bowlers are just coming out trumps, aren't they? And also, I am so on for this celebration. So I feel like this is going to become a thing, this tournament, and I cannot wait to see it. And their smiles, I'm loving it.
It's definitely going to become a thing. I got you, Georgie. All right, so now leading on to the next game, we're looking forward to it. It's match number 3, ladies and gentlemen, and that is, of course, Barmy Army versus Team Spirit. We're looking forward to more cricket action coming up in a bit, so make sure that you don't go anywhere. Put your feet up, relax, because it's definitely going to be entertaining in the next game. See you soon.
They are spirit.
No. Mel.
Yes, I can. Sorry, it was actually up so loud during that presentation. I couldn't hear the guests or anything, so that's better now. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I can hear you, but you're not blowing my eardrum away. Not that you don't have a beautiful voice that's soothing to the soul, Hammond, because you do. Yes, time now for the coin toss for match 3 in the Fairbreak Invitational. We have down here Captain of the Barmy Army, Heather Knight, and Nicola Carey of the Spirit. We're also joined tonight by Paul Burnham, co-founder of the Barmy Army, who's going to toss the coin, and match referee Chandray Fitz.
Okay, here we go.
Heads was a call. Heads was a call.
It was definitely heads.
From Nicola Carey.
We'll have a bowl.
There you go. Luckily, we heard you, Nicola. I did hear you. You have won the toss. What are you going to do? Tell us why.
We're going to have a bowl. It's a new team. I think it'll be good for the girls to get out there and have a bit of a run around and see what the Barmy Army can do in the first innings.
Yeah, well, you're used to hearing Barmy Army on the sidelines, not on the field. Tell us something about your team. What are you expecting? You don't have a lot of big hitters in there.
Oh, all right. Dunks won't be happy with that, but I think you'll see we've got a lot of spinners, so I think you'll see a lot of off pace, and I think we've got a bit of a different batting order. I suppose you'll see maybe not as many sixes, but I'm backing our batting lineup to do a really good job.
No, well, I'm sure you'll be part of that as well. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. Heather, I've just dissed her team. Be careful what I say now. You would have obviously liked to have had a field first like everyone else?
Yeah, I was going to field first as well, but we're going to have to assess conditions quite quickly. Obviously the game earlier this evening was a little bit lower scoring than it was yesterday. It's not a bad thing that we're batting. We get out there, try and put some runs on the board and try and squeeze them in the field.
Of course you did join us up in commentary, so you have had a bit of a look at it. Are you expecting it to be very different tonight? Obviously last night was a big run fest.
Yeah, it was. I think it will get better than it was in the first game under lights. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Is it the batting? Is it actually the pitch? So it's when you get out there, you've got to try and assess quite quickly. Looks like there's a few marks where the balls were, so might do a little bit with the new ball.
Yeah, well, we look forward to seeing how you go. Good luck tonight.
Great, thank you.
So there you go. That is the coin toss. It was the Spirit who won the toss, and like everyone else, first game, they have elected to field.